All right, everybody. It's a beautiful morning. It is the EFL/Carabao Cup Final. Christian Pulisic, the American, is starting, and it looks like it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. How's everybody doing today? Y'all having a good time? Everybody ready for this game? At the same time, I should say, Ricardo Pepi starts against Dortmund in the Bundesliga in a very important game for him because he hasn't been starting the last couple of games. So it'll be interesting to see how he does with this one. Let's jump into the lineups first, and then we'll talk more about some other stuff. How's everybody feeling today? Mike Palumbo, Amber Hernandez, Shadow, ABC23. You guys having a good time? I still look like I just woke up, so I apologize. Here's their starting lineups for you. We've got Chelsea's starting lineup in a 3-4-3. I'm actually surprised how, Google got this right. It is sort of more of a 3-4-2-1, depending on how you look at it. But Mendy in goal. Back three is Chalobah, Thiago Silva, and Antonio Rudiger. Wing backs are Cesar Azpilicueta and Marcos Alonso. And the midfielders are N'Golo Kante and Kovacic. Mason Mount and Pulisic are going to be playing sort of in the half spaces / wide areas, although we'll have to see how this actually works out on the pitch. And Kai Havertz starts up front. Morning, Miguel. Joe Dem got me my coffee. Yes. Ruben, how are you doing, sir? I've been up all night. Well, not all night, but I was up for a good part of the night, keeping track of what's happening over in Ukraine. Let's go into Liverpool's lineup. Kelleher starts in goal. Not sure what happened to Alisson. Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back. They play a 4-3-3. Feel like American fans should be used to this at this point. Familiar with it. Joel Matip and Virgil van Dijk in center defense. Andy Robertson at left back. And midfield three of Alcantara, Fabinho, and Jordan Henderson. Mo Salah at right wing, Luis Diaz, the new addition at left wing, and none other than Sadio Mane up top. Ilias, how are you doing? Luke, yes, I did, and we're going to talk about Jesse Marsh in this stream as well. Justin, Trent, Thiago apparently got injured in the warm-ups, so Keita will start. That's good to know. All right, so Keita in midfield. Not a huge drop-off there in terms of quality. Matt Poliquin. It's simple. You start the Americans, you win trophies, period. I do want to say, guys, that I had an argument with somebody once who said Christian Pulisic only scores against small teams. The guy has scored against Liverpool, right, twice in the Premier League, Manchester City in the Premier League, Arsenal in the FA Cup Final, Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, Real Madrid in the Champions League, and Lille in the Champions League. So he is a big game player, folks. I think there's a lot of exciting stuff to see here today. Hopefully, he stays fit and healthy. That's a big concern with Christian Pulisic. So, yeah, the thunderous applause for Ukraine. A couple of people are mentioning it in the chat. Ryan and Valerie Green going to touch on the Leeds to March rumors. Yes, we are. We're definitely going to talk about that because that's a very important thing, and I definitely have some thoughts about that. We're also going to talk a little bit about MLS opening weekend, which I had a lot. I didn't watch all the games that I wanted, but I had a ton of fun watching the ones that I did. Most interestingly, I'm interested in, the young Americans who are playing in MLS, the young prospects. Prospect watch is how I approach MLS because I don't really have a team. Joe Dem, where can I watch the match? It's on ESPN Plus. Thanks, Mike. Yes. Tobes Laroni. Oh, okay, I just got it. Tobes Laroni. It's actually the opposite. He only scores against big teams, Crystal Palace and Burnley. Ruben Villasenor, LAFC looked good. Yes, we did. I was very curious to see how we were going to line up, having lost some crucial players. But yeah, you're right. We did look good. Hey, buddy, you want to come say hi? You want to come say hi to the fans? Come here. Come say hi. Up here. Good boy. Look. Say hi. How's it going? This is Brock. It's my roommate's dog. He's a very sweet boy. Yeah, okay. No face licking. Brendan to Leeds still got to be a big possibility. Okay. All right. Where's everybody? If this guy had a fight with Tactical Dog, it wouldn't even be close. Mr. Nelson, yes, ESPN Plus. Of course, I'm sure some of you guys can find streams if you need them. All right, what's the over-under on Pulisic either getting a goal or assist today? Boy, it's a good question. I'm going to go with, I'm going to say like 2 out of 5. Those would be the odds. How's everybody doing this morning? Ryan and Valerie Green. Brock and Tactical Dog got to be besties as well. They've never met each other. He's also not my dog, but my girlfriend's been bugging me to get a dog. So at some point, we probably are going to get one. I love dogs too. It's just living in LA is expensive enough right now. Dogs, cost even more money. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Pulisic loves a good goal against Liverpool. Yes, he does, Tobes. He had 2 goals against Liverpool off the bench, if you remember, in the return of the Premier League during COVID. I think it was in 2020. That last 6 months where he got like 10 goals and 5 assists. He had 2 really good goals against Liverpool. All right. Mr. Nelson says, I wish I could pay at one website and just get everything, but I know it's not how it works. I feel you, man. Honestly, if you have Fubo TV and ESPN Plus, I feel like you get most of the things. Then there's obviously Paramount Plus, Peacock. Yeah, so I don't know. It's tough. It is tough for sure. I feel like we've gone away from a cable model. And into just like paying for specific things that we want. ABC says it was a goal and assist, not 2 goals. Really? Are you sure? I feel like it was 2 goals. Maybe I got that wrong. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was a goal and assist. Yes, this is very important, okay? Pepe starts for Augsburg against Dortmund, so we are going to be keeping an eye on this one as well. All right, kickoff is about to start. They're doing their moment of silence. I've also got the Pepe starting against Dortmund game on. What do you mean it hasn't started yet? All right, so we got kickoff right now, and Van Dijk goes long into the corner. All right. Come on, Christian. Apparently, it says the Dortmund-Augsburg game has not started yet. What are you talking about? It's 8:30. It's 5 minutes past kickoff. That's weird. Here we go. Augsburg, Dortmund. You guys, let me know, where are you watching it? Are you watching it on ESPN Plus? I guess that's the only place you can really watch it, huh? Okay, so Augsburg, Dortmund is about to kick off. They're having a moment of silence for Ukraine. Mount on the left. What the fuck? Paxton Pomacall is better than Leggett. Yeah, I am behind, guys, so no spoilers in the chat, okay? I'm currently at 0, 53, 54, 55, 56. So I'm probably a little bit behind some of you. But if you're watching on ESPN Plus, am I behind? Okay, hang on. I think I've caught up now. It's 1:04, 5, 6, 7. I don't know. I'm on 123, 124, 25. Ilyas Abdi is watching on Sky Sports. Well, this is very important, guys, and I'm going to highlight this in this week's Patreon video. What happened with the Union? I heard Paxton looks amazing and ahead of where his brother was at his age. I agree. I think he's a much more technical, dynamic player than Brendan Aronson, and that's saying something. So, yeah, but what I'm going to do this week, guys, on Patreon is I'm going to sort of compile the clips of I thought the best performances from young Americans in MLS this weekend. So the guys, what I like, who I liked, what I liked about them, and then show specific things that I liked. So sad that Pulisic is on the right. I don't know. He'll probably my guess is Pulisic and Mount will interchange during the game. That's usually what he does. I think Pulisic's also going to drift inside. So don't get too hung up on where he is in the opening minutes, guys. It's going to change. It's going to change during the course of the game. Pulisic very rarely plays in one place during the game unless he's playing as a wingback. then he has to stay on the one side. Brock, no. Oh, come on, Pulisic, get in there. We need Pulisic warming up and getting in form and confident just in time for March, guys. So we're hoping for a good game from him today. So far, Liverpool seems to be having the majority of possession. This is being played at Wembley, right? I don't have the sound on, so I don't know where it's being played. Does anybody know? Is it at Wembley? It's usually played at a neutral ground, right? Ooh. Trent Alexander-Arnold, mate. Right, best right back in the world, yeah? Okay? I knew him from when we was mates back in Slough where we used to grow up, yeah? Absolute banger he scored one time, but I'm better than him, I really am. That's my favourite thing about Brits is like they will talk about like professional footballers that they like either grew up with or went to school with and act like they're terrible. And they'll be like, I was better than him, mate. I injured my hamstring when I was like really young. So I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure about that? Yeah, like I have a guy who is convincing me that he's a better player than Jack Grealish. And the only reason he didn't become a professional footballer and is an accountant is because he had an injury, which might be true. That is possible. But yeah, I just think sometimes they overdo it. No offense to any Brits who are in the stream. Elias. Sort of a scrappy game so far. Ooh, Salah one-on-one with Rudiger. Fabinho. Oh! That would have been a great little cross across the 6-yard box. Come on, Mason. Are there any Liverpool fans in the chat? Yeah, Brock's a pit bull, S27. Chambers, Wisconsin, ready for the United States of Leeds next season. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, we'll talk a little bit about Jesse Marsch. I don't know if the reports are official, but everything we're hearing is that Marcelo Bielsa is going to leave now instead of at the end of the season. Mason Mount on a break. All right. Oh! Pulisic. Oh. Whew, guys. So close. So close. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Or I have to see that again. Didn't feel like a terrible shot, but I wonder if he could have done better to get that away from the keeper. Let's have a quick look. Nice little ball in from Kovacic. He's definitely onside. Oh. Should he have scored that? Felt like it went right at the keeper. He would have had to open his body up in order to change the trajectory of the ball. So maybe not quite on him, but could he have done better? Yes, I think so. Oh, it was announced this morning. Bielsa sacked. Okay, Brock, not now. Not now, okay? I have to do a live stream, buddy. We'll play later. He loves to play. Oh, it was announced he was sacked. Okay, so if he's sacked, and then the rumor is that Jesse Marsch is going to take over. I have some thoughts on this. But first, Chelsea have a promising attack. Fabinho makes a foul on Azpilicueta. No, maybe not. Maybe it's just a throw. Almost think he could have taken a touch and gone around him. So here's the thing about Pulisic. I mean, about Jesse Marsch. Bielsa is of course, a great manager. We all know this. What's consistently been an issue with Bielsa is that his teams run out of gas at the end of the season because his system is so intense. His high pressing, the work. It's completely exhausting, and it was always going to be exhausting in the Premier League, where they don't have a mid-season break, where they play right through, Christmas and New Year. They don't really have a proper break in the Premier League. So Leeds, I don't know if they have anything left in the gas tank. Now Jesse Marsch has to go there, right? And these guys have been decimated by exhaustion. And let's have a look at the Premier League table, see where they are right now. But I don't think it's looking very good for them in terms of staying up. All right. So we've got Premier League table. Here we go. All right. So we've got Leeds currently in 16th. They are 2 points ahead of Burnley. So that isn't going to be easy. Burnley are currently, I guess Leeds have a game in hand, 2 games in hand on Watford, but they have the same amount of games as Burnley. But they've got 2 games in hand. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's Everton I'm looking at. Yeah, no, they've got the same, and both Everton and Burnley have 2 games in hand on Leeds. So that is going to be very rough. I'm worried about Jesse Marsch sort of being set up to fail or having a difficult time there. Something to be thinking about. The other side of that coin is Jesse Marsch himself needs to prove that he's not just an ideologue, right? He is a guy who said many times he believes the game should be played a certain way and is unable, in my opinion, to adapt when things are not going well, So I just want to see Jesse Marsch be not such an ideologue. We have the same problem with Greg Berhalter, right? Ideologue. The game has to be played like this. It's not that it's necessarily bad, but the way that football is set up, it's fine to have a structure. Okay, people go, look at, Pep Guardiola or even Jurgen Klopp, the way they want to play. Yeah, but those guys have endless money to spend. They spend ridiculous amounts of money bringing in players who fit exactly to a T how they want to play. Nobody else in the world has that luxury. Oh, Mason Mount with the cross. Where was Pulisic on that? Where on earth is Pulisic? I didn't even see him. Did anybody see him? Oh, there he is. No, that's Mason Mount. No, that is Pulisic. Sometimes they look similar to me. So yeah, with Jesse Marsch, I hope he can be a success there, but you cannot be an endless ideologue and not be able to adapt if you don't have the players to play the game that you want to play. I also think this style of play, this overly intense, direct pressing, win the ball and go straight to goal, it's a little played out. People know how to play against it now, right? It's why this whole Ralph Ragnick is going to bring this to Manchester United. It's just not going to work, guys. The whole endless pressing and then direct play when you win the ball it can be exciting and high octane, but I'm not sure it's the best setup for success, honestly. So I'm not sure if Jesse thinks this is the way the game is supposed to be played. I wish him the best of luck, and I hope he does well with it. I'm not convinced that it's going to work long term. I think that you look at, Klopp, who had this style of play almost when he was at Dortmund. And since coming to Liverpool, he has adapted also. His style of play is not just gegenpressing, win the ball, and then play direct. His style of play combines that with a lot more spells of possession and wanting to break teams down with the ball. And I think that is very important, being able to adapt. This is why that Klopp is successful as a coach. He knows how to play in such a way that suits the players he have. But also to the, the other side of that is he's got the money to spend to bring in the players he wants. So my general thoughts on Jesse Marsch to Leeds are great, good for him. I don't know if he's going to be able to keep them up considering the injuries and the exhaustion from, having Marcelo Bielsa sort of wear them into the ground. But I hope he can do well. Keeping them up would be huge. I don't want Brendan Aronson going there if they're not in the Premier League. What's up, buddy? What are you excited about? All right, so it's still 0-0. Have we got an injury? Thiago Silva clutching his chest. Oh, I hope he's okay. No, 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 no. Hope that's his shoulder and not his heart. Okay. Looks like maybe it's his shoulder or his rib cage or something. Hey, Brock, stop it. No barking. No. Brock, chill, buddy. Nobody wants to hear your barking on the live stream. So Thiago Silva getting treatment for something. Maybe it's gas. Oh, he got elbowed. Yeah. Okay. Calvin Patel. Hey, what's going on at 11 Yanks? Would you ever talk about how you got started into acting? Yeah, maybe sometime, a little bit. I'd tell the story. Sure. But maybe not right now. Oh, that would have been. Oh, yeah, that's the ball. They're showing the replay. Oh, Pulisic. Wasn't a terrible shot. It was just right at the keeper. I think he was trying to go to the keeper's left, but, it was too close to the keeper. Oh, man. When you see it from a certain angle, there's so much more of the goal to hit. Feels like he could have done better there, Ruben Villasenor, I think he just got elbowed. He was clutching his chest and sort of rib cage on the left side, so I was a little bit worried about him, but seems to be okay now. At least it's, getting elbowed is not a heart issue. Rocco is your dog's name. No, it's actually not my dog. It's my roommate's dog. His name is Brock. He's a good boy. You a good boy? Are you a good boy? Yeah. All right, still 0-0 in the 15th minute, guys. Liverpool have a lot of the ball, and it feels like Chelsea are playing more in transition, which, according to Greg Berhalter, Liverpool would be the dominant team right now, regardless of who wins. Brock is saying that Jogo is better than Alonso. Jogo's been starting regularly in the Spanish second division, people. He hasn't been perfect, but he's been threatening and he's been dangerous. I think it was, this last week. He still has work to do on his defending, right? His 1v1 defending is still something that needs to improve. Thankfully, he's 18 years old, so there's plenty of time for him to work on that. Donna Vandermark. Why is Pully on the right? I don't know, Donna. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's his best spot, but it feels like in transition, he's playing in the middle as well, not just on the right. All right, here we go. All right, Kai Havertz going to put a decent cross in. Oh, it's for Mason Mount. Shot is blocked. Kovacic has a shot. Blocked again. Kante. He's so good, this guy. But he loses it. Luis Diaz. When you walk. Greg Berhalter 2024. Make America vertical. Good one, Chris. You chasing your tail for? Everybody can hear you stomping around on the stream, right? Good boy. Oh, Liverpool. Oh. All right, 16 minutes in, sort of back and forth. Pete, what percentage you got that we see Georgie on the USMNT squad? So I think he's talking about Georgie Mihailovic. Ryan, I don't know the answer to that. I'm going to say very little. Greg Berhalter does not appear to rate him. This guy was the number one in assists, the top assists in MLS last season. From what I heard, during the 3 scrimmages that the U.S. played in January, the MLS team, Georgie was their top scorer, and everybody thought he was going to be in the roster, and a lot of people in the roster were very surprised when he was not. So he followed that up with a very good goal and assist against Santos Laguna in the CCL and a strong performance. I'm looking forward to seeing him today. I believe Montreal plays Orlando. I like the kid. I've said in the past, I don't think he has a very high ceiling, and that may still be true, but he's improved massively over a year ago when we had the whole Olympic disaster, right? which, sorry. I think he's improved massively in the last year or so. Triple G was in the stands at the FC Dallas game yesterday. Yeah, he's got Paul Arriola and Jesus Ferreira to watch. Arriola did get an assist yesterday, right, on the O'Brien goal. That was a good assist, decent assist at least. Ferreira, I'm not convinced is a striker, guys. I know that Dallas really wants him to play there, and they want to play this sort of false nine, hold-up play. I personally am not convinced by it, but maybe Greg is right, Bro, what are you doing? Oh, wow. That could not be a more off header from Sadio Mane. Yeah, I think this is fair. I think Georgie is one of those players that fails to impress when shunted out wide, but is great in the middle. Yeah, again, it's this thing with Americans that we love to do. If you have any kind of creativity or technique, we're like, oh, can't play centrally, must push you out wide so we can get more crosses in. It's frustrating, very frustrating for me. Like if Paxton Aronson ever plays for the U.S. under Greg Berhalter, I am 100% sure he won't let him play in the middle. He will make him play wide and just say, yep. Thoughts on Zardes being the number 2 in Columbus? So, okay, let's say this. It's one game, guys. It's one game. We don't know for sure if he's really the number 2. But early signs are that, yeah, Caleb Porter seems to rate Miguel Berry ahead of him. And to his credit, Miguel Berry scored. If this continues over the next couple of games, come the March roster, we're talking about a substitute in MLS. So not even a starter in MLS being called up to the national team. I think it's been pretty clear for some time, guys, that Gyasi Zardes is not U.S. national team quality. But Greg Berhalter attacks. So Liverpool playing it around the back right now, trying to get into the midfield. Sadio Mane pulling away from Kovacic. Haven't really been able to – they've had a lot of possession, right? But they haven't really been able to penetrate that defense very much. So according to Berhalter, a dominant performance. Ooh, that's a free kick. Foul on Sadio Mane. All right. Look at this. Matt Poliquin. This is amazing. Live in Connecticut and will be going to my first professional soccer match on March 8th. NYCFC versus Comunicaciones. I don't know how to pronounce that. Comunicaciones. Pumped. That's awesome, Matt. I didn't realize you'd never been to a game before. Are you not an NYCFC fan? So this is interesting. They all think a Yank has no right to manage them after a legend like Bielsa. The bias against Americans is real in Europe. Look, yeah, that's fair to a degree. I mean, they had an excellent manager in Marcelo Bielsa. And to be fair, what is Jesse Marsch's record? Okay. Like, yes, I know he did well in Austria, right? Where he, did well enough to win the league, but they win the league regardless over there. So I don't think that's any great accomplishment. Ultimately, Salzburg was poor in the Champions League, poor in the Europa League. And then he goes to Leipzig and is extremely poor. And yeah, whatever your reasons are for that, I'm not saying it happened in a vacuum. There were reasons for sure. One of the reasons is he couldn't adapt and insisted on playing a certain way when it wasn't working. And then he lost the dressing room. So when you're a fan of a club and you hear this coach is going to be coming in, what do? You look at his record. You go, he won a few, trophies in Austria, but other than that, has not been great everywhere else, right? And MLS doesn't count in Europe, right? Winning, Supporters Shield with Red Bulls. He doesn't even have an MLS Cup. Let's be honest, right? So it's tough. I'm not saying they're right. I'm just saying, as a Leeds fan, I would understand if they're like, I'm not so sure about this guy. And Jesse still has a ton to prove. And the fact that he's getting another shot actually shows you how far Americans have come. Because, 5 years ago, Bob Bradley failed at Swansea, and that was it. His career in Europe was over. Nobody gave him a shot. So failing at Salzburg, great. At Salzburg, I'm sorry. At Leipzig, great. If he fails at Leeds, he's probably not getting another chance in Europe. And I wonder if failing means getting relegated this season, which for a lot of Leeds fans, it would be that. It would absolutely be that. So we'll see. I'm rooting for Jesse. I hope he does well. The number one thing for Jesse is he's going to, especially with the players being exhausted right now, if he comes in and tries to continue this endless pressing, this nonstop pressing, I don't know if that's going to work. I hope it can. And at least with Leeds, he's got the players that are familiar with the way he wants to play, sort of. But they're also exhausted, and they've been run into the ground. J-Town, the game is on ESPN+. Mr. Nelson says, my first MLS match was Seattle FC versus Houston FC in 2010. I think you mean Seattle Sounders. Woo! The Orlando coach, Oscar something, maybe him. Yeah, so Oscar Pareja is one that people think about maybe, could he manage in Europe? I don't know. It's a good question. He didn't do so well in Mexico, right? So it's hard to know. When you say Europe, what level are we talking, right? Are we talking Swedish second division? Because Greg Berhalter couldn't manage in the Swedish second division. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, I don't know. Ultimately, I think going to Europe, you cannot go to Europe and be an ideologue, especially because you're not going to get a big club to manage. You're not going to get a club that has all of the resources you want. You need to go there, evaluate. This is, in my opinion, good coaching. Evaluate what do I have at my disposal, and how can I tailor the way we want to play that suits the strengths of the players I have. Now, in club soccer, obviously, you have more freedom to implement your style of play because you have time. But even then, you don't understand. Like, even then, if your players, if the way you want to play doesn't suit their strengths, you're going to struggle to be successful. And the other thing is this, buy-in. This is the hardest part for American coaches. The number one thing about being a successful coach anywhere in the world is your players have to buy in. Your players have to believe in you. You cannot institute a style of play or get them to play a certain way if they don't believe in you, right? So if you come in as an American, which you are already behind if you talk like this, no matter what you've done in the past, there is a certain amount of bias there. You need to convince the players quickly that what you want them to do is correct. And I think generally speaking, your best bet is to have really good communication. Think about how, the skill sets of your players and tailor your game to them and give them freedom to play in such a way that suits them. Because I don't think an American coach anywhere in the world coming in and saying, this is how I see the game and this is how it must be played is going to work. Okay, just my thoughts. Do you think Harrison will help with the buy-in? I don't think so, Lee, because he was never managed by Jesse Marsh, right? Jack Harrison was managed by Patrick Vieira and Jason Kreis. So I'm not convinced that, Jack Harrison, who's very English, is going to necessarily be like, oh yeah, Jesse Marsh is a great coach. Did you watch any of the Charlotte FC match last night? I did not, but I saw that you guys lost. Can't really give you my thoughts on that. Yeah, but the problem, Lee, is when Jack Harrison was in MLS, it was even worse than it is now. You're talking 2014. You're talking about the quality of play in MLS being significantly worse than it is now. So I'm not sure Jack Harrison has glowing things to say about MLS in the locker room. So Liverpool continuing to attack here. We're 27 minutes in. It feels like it's been all Liverpool, which actually this kind of game suits Pulisic, right? He's very good on the counter. He can use his speed, his explosiveness. The question is, can he get in those spots to do it? Because right now it looks like everybody's defending and it's just Kai Havertz up top. No whining, buddy. Liverpool are knocking Ted Lasso is all fun and games, but it's actually a fair representation of any U.S. manager in Europe. No, I mean, that's extreme. Ted Lasso is nothing like Jesse Marsch. Come on. That's very extreme. Ted Lasso just leans in really hard to all the stereotypes of American coaches in terms of understanding soccer, and I just don't like it for that reason. The storyline is great, but just the overly cliche, like, Americans don't know the game. They're just overly optimistic, and they're all about belief, and anything can happen. And through the magic of, American inspiration, teams can be changed. And, it's more than a game. It's about the players' person. It's so, like, to me, it just kind of leans in so hard to the stereotypes. I have a hard time taking it seriously. I enjoy watching it for the storyline, and it's like, it's heartwarming. It's an American show. Like, it's about as American as apple pie, right? It's a feel good, heartwarming show. Liverpool got a corner here. 3 corners so far for them. Kante on the counter. I don't understand why Chelsea's just lumping it long when they get it. Like, you're just giving it back. Now Mo Salah's got it. Oof. This is going to be an interesting one. Oh, Henderson. See, again, they win it and they just lump it long and there's nobody there. We can't hold on to it for 2 seconds while we try to build a counterattack, Chelsea. Come on. Right. So this is exactly what I'm saying. Joshua Guevara about Jesse, right? So we are hyped for Jesse because he won the league with Salzburg, who have won 13 of the last 15 league titles. They were second, the only ones who didn't win. Yeah, look, yeah, it's exactly that. I mean, winning the league with Salzburg is not a thing, a sign of success, to be honest. So no Lukaku on the field today. Liverpool knocking it around the back. Let's see what happens here. SOS Venture. I have no idea the answer to this question. Pulisic played great on the left. Why play right wing today? Because Tuchel told him to? I don't know. It was Diaz looking really sharp. They make the game look so easy, top players. Oh, what a save. Oh! How does Mane miss that? Did he save it? Was that a double save? It was, wasn't it? That was a fingertip save. Hang on, let me watch the replay. Mane takes it, gives it back. Beautiful save. Oh! I think he did touch it. Okay. Takes it, gets back up. He did save it. Oh, wow. Jeez. That's a worse miss than Pulisic. Sadio Mane. But, of course, Liverpool, but he's not American, so Liverpool fans won't come after him for that. Matt Turner saves that. Yeah, right. Guys, I'm just going to grab some more coffee. Hang tight. Hang tight. All right, I'm back. Thankfully, nobody scored while I was gone. How are we doing, guys? All right, so Liverpool had 2 good chances, honestly, really, both from Sadio Mane. One was the header, and the other one was that shot. One was missed, and one was beautifully saved by the keeper. And then Pulisic had one chance early on that he could have definitely done better with. Shot it straight at the keeper. Okay, very good question, Kyle. Thoughts on New England interest in Ethan Horvath as Turner replacement? Love it. I do not want to go into a World Cup with all of our, 3 top keepers being bench options. I want Now that Turner's leaving, bring Horvath back if he's not going to play. Now, caveat, Horvath has played 2 games now for Nottingham Forest, and he has 1 more before Bryce Samba comes back from injury. If, by chance, the coach likes Horvath and keeps him as the number 1, then yeah, obviously you don't want him coming back. But we can't have all 3 of our goalkeepers sitting on the bench, people, especially because Zach Steffen is so injury prone. He's so ridiculously injury prone, guys. We need to have our players playing soccer. So if Zach Steffen's injury prone, then you're talking about Matt Turner sitting on the bench for Arsenal, not playing regularly. That's not good, guys. It's really not good. We'll talk about this for a little bit. Hey, Pete, how are you? How are you feeling going into this final window of qualifying? Me personally, I'm super nervous to face you guys. Even though we are at home, you already beat us 3 times. You're a Mexico fan. Hey, buddy. Yeah, I think it's a tough one. I'm nervous because we're going to be missing Weston McKennie, right? Who's been probably our best player in qualifying. And we'd hope to have Gio Reyna back. He may still be back. I would be very surprised if we bring him, and especially I'd be even more surprised if we start him against Mexico. It's a big game, but it's not the biggest game. If we're going to have him, we should have him start against Panama, in my opinion. But we also have the Berhalter tax, right? We have Greg Berhalter. We don't know what he's going to do. He's been very successful against Mexico. But if you look at the record against Mexico, in 2 of those games, in one of those games, it was even. I'd say the Gold Cup final was pretty even. In the Nations League final, you guys outplayed us. You absolutely did. You outplayed us. Now, we did beat you in World Cup qualifying, and that was a comprehensive win. But also, your guys' defending was terrible. I mean, Cata Dominguez literally stopped running and let Christian Pulisic ghost into the box. Oh, Puli on the counter. Oh, please, finish it. Mason, you got to be kidding me. Oh, no, it's Kai Havertz, not Mason. That would have been a beautiful assist from Christian. All right, Chelsea fans, I hope you come after Kai Havertz as much as you come after, he's offside. He's way offside. But still, at least finish that, right? Is Mexico without HH and Chucky? No, Jimenez will be there. I'm not sure about Herrera. I know Chucky is probably out. So Mexico is going to be missing some big players too, right? And I think you always have a chance to do well. I just don't think it's going to be the focus of this game. I don't think the focus is going to be on beating Mexico. I think it's going to be on beating Panama. If I had to make a prediction, Football Kings, I'm going to say a draw. Either a 1-1 draw or a 0-0 draw. That would be my guess. But it's very plausible that you guys could win also. Pulisic held on to the ball too long. Yeah, probably should have made that pass just a tad bit earlier. So, yeah, definitely want Ethan Horvath in New England, guys, for sure. Jake says, Chelsea fans still want Pulisic gone, and I think CHO is amazing. Can't trust their judgment at all. Fair. All right, we're 36 minutes in. Still 0-0. Liverpool have had the lion's share of possession, at least from the eye test. I'd have to look at the halftime stats to see if that's true. They've created the better chances as well. Chelsea playing more in transition right now. So, let's go Chelsea. Come on, Puli, don't let him get that cross off, man. At least stick a leg in there. Pulisic will win the 2026 Ballon d'Or. I love the optimism S27, but I'm not sure about that. Okay. I wonder how many people in the chat are Liverpool fans, how many are Chelsea fans, and how many are just neutral. Guys, if you're put in the chat, spam the chat, Liverpool, Chelsea, or neutral. Let's see who wins. Chelsea. Liverpool, it's 2-1 Chelsea so far in the chat. Whoa, it's a lot of Chelsea. Woo. Yeah, looks like it's mostly Chelsea, people. Chelsea, Liverpool, Chelsea, neutral. Chelsea because of Pulisic. Liverpool, Chelsea, neutral. Liverpool. Ballon d'Or, bro, stop now. No, I didn't say he was going to. I was reading a chat, Rico Po. Football King says, looks like it's mostly Chelsea. I think a draw can definitely be good for both teams, to be fair. Also, yeah, it sucks with what happened with Weston and Gio. Even though I'm Mexico, those two are my favorite USMNT players. Those two are ballers. Let me ask you this, Football Kings. Are you a Mexican-American? Like, are you American who was like has Mexican parents? Or are you like Mexican, born and raised in Mexico, living in Mexico? I'm curious if that impacts your national team loyalty and players that you like. Oh, come on. Pulisic is in space. Pulisic's in space. Yeah, there we go. Now, oh! He's not offside, people. Why is everybody playing like nothing's going on? Are they all expecting an offside? Jeez. Whew. Rico Post says, have to admit, I want Puli to score and Chelsea to lose. Did you guys see the statement from Roman Abramovich saying that he's turned over the stewardship of the club to the Chelsea Foundation? It's because I don't think England is going to let him back in the country anytime soon. They may even try to take his assets. I'm not exactly sure how that works, or freeze his assets. But either way, probably a smart move from Abramovich, to be honest. That's a foul on Luis Diaz from Azpilicueta. What a player, Luis Diaz, huh? When you walk through the storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. I've been a Liverpool fan almost longer than Pulisic has been alive. LOL. Yes, good one. Chambers, Pete, would you say? Oh, we got Liverpool corner. Hang on. Ooh, good defending. It's back out. Would you say that West has already surpassed the ceiling? They're just allowing Liverpool to put so many crosses in. The ceiling many had for him. Always thought he'd be one of our top players, but never thought he'd find the form he had this year pre-injury. I agree, 100%. I think what Weston has really improved in is his decision-making and his technique. We know he always had talent, but he lacked decision-making, technique, and discipline, understanding his role within a team, not a lack of technical ability, but it was something he could have improved on. He's a very dynamic player, but oftentimes in a measured build-out, he was unable to keep possession, right? Too often he would receive the ball on the turn and try to drive forward with it at his feet. But what he's really improved on at Juve is being a lot better in a measured build-out, and then obviously goal scoring, right? Getting in the box, finishing off chances, being sort of a ghost. Come on, Chelsea. Come on. Alonso. Ooh. Oh. Yeah. Look, Weston has probably been one of Juve's best players this season. Easily, for me, top 3 player for Juve. And that's why when people say, the reason we're struggling in CONCACAF is that we don't have enough talent, it makes me angry, because it is ridiculous to suggest. We've got a guy who played a key role in Chelsea winning the Champions League. We've got one of Juve's top 3 players. We've got a starting right back for Barcelona, right? We've got 2 defenders starting in Bundesliga, right? We've got Brendan Aronson, who's playing in Champions League and having really good performances against one of the best teams in the world, right? We've got Tyler Adams, who's a rotational starter for a top German club. We've got Gio Reyna, Tim Weah, Champions League club. Like, there's so many guys that we have playing at such a high level that this is the thing, we've never had anybody playing at that level before, right? Ever in our history. And we still never struggled in CONCACAF. People forget in 2006, 2010, 2014, we finished top of the hex in World Cup qualifying, number one. Now, some people are saying now that's too high of expectations, right? We should just be happy to qualify for the World Cup because we don't have the talent, and Berhalter's doing the best that he can with the players he has. It's just not true. It's just not true. I'm sorry. We have significantly more talent than we've ever had. It's completely mismanaged by Greg Berhalter. And Berhalter's not, completely wrong all the time, and definitely the players have to have some responsibility too. Some players have been inconsistent, right? That's hurt. But ultimately, and I don't agree with Herc on a lot of things, but what he said is true. We're not setting these players up for success. All right. This is funny how EPL is going after Abramovich, but just let the Saudi government buy Newcastle. Yeah, don't even get me started on the hypocrisy of a lot of things. A lot of things. Ruben Villasenor says Hector Herrera is out due to yellows. All right, so no Hector Herrera, no Chucky Lozano. Those are going to be two big losses for Mexico. But that being said, Raul Jimenez has found form in the Premier League again, right? Raul Jimenez has not been performing at the same level that he was before his injury this season. However, recently he's got 2 goals and 2 assists for Wolves in like the last 5 games. So he looks like he's finding his old form again, and that could be a huge, huge issue for us if we're not careful, right? Applebee's needs to sponsor the Champions League instead of Gazprom. That would be amazing. Imagine the Applebee's Champions League. That or like Cheesecake Factory. There'd be nothing. Oh, Puli going on a run. Come on, Puli. All right. Oh, please tell me he's not injured. Get up, Pulisic. Get up, get up, get up. I swear to God, if Pulisic is injured. Mount should have done better with that. Okay, so here's Pulisic. Driving, probably hung onto the ball just a tad bit too long. Got fouled. Oh, Mason Mount has to put that on frame at least. Has to put that on frame at least. Oh. Oh. At least put that on frame, Mason. Come on. Whew. So my question is, are Chelsea fans going to give Mason Mount as much grief for that miss as they'll give Christian for his earlier miss? The answer is no. Because he's a Cobham lad, see? One of us. Right? Born and raised. Loves the badge. Loves this football club. Not some American. Right? Love him. Christian Pulisic misses and it's like, yeah, bloody Yanks don't know the game, do they? Someone says Pulisic fault. Well, it's good to see Pulisic up. And any Brits in the chat, I know you're not all like that. I'm just having a laugh, right? So don't take me too seriously. Yeah, good to see Pulisic up and walking. The last thing you wanted to see was him going. Anytime he goes down, clutching a body part, it's like so scary, especially now because no Weston, no Reina, possibly. To be fair, Pulisic's was worse. Hey, at least Pulisic put his on target. Is he coming off? No. He's not coming off. Okay, it looked like he was walking towards the sideline. Okay. Oh, it's halftime. That's why. Pay attention, Pete. Note, Pulisic Mount never switched sides. Yeah. No, he didn't. No, they didn't. Karen. First of all, I don't know what this is. Pete, if when we qualify for the World Cup, can you hit the gritty? This is where I out myself as not really being up with current pop culture. So I don't know what that is. But if we qualify for the World Cup, I'll try to find a way to hit the gritty. Maybe we'll see. You know what? Honestly, you should do is make Tack hit the gritty. I think that would be way cooler if we make Tack hit the gritty instead of me. But we're probably going to qualify after Panama, so Tack's going to be at the game. It's the Pulisic celebration from his last goal. I don't know how to do it. Is it a TikTok thing, guys? Is anybody here on TikTok? I'm not on TikTok, so I have no idea what's going on, like the latest. Yeah, no, I know it's Pulis celebration, Micah. I just don't know how to do it myself. Let me look this up. Pulisic hit the gritty. What is the gritty? Pulisic and Ilanga dance celebration. Let's see what maybe YouTube has it for us. All right, let's see if I can share this tab and we can all watch Pulisic hit the gritty, and then I'll let you know if I can do it. I don't know if I can. I'm not really a dancer, people. All right, here we go. This is Pulisic hitting the gritty.
I'm sorry, she a fucking fan. I get bread, all these fucking bands.
I'm not sure. Not a great angle, guys. Not sure exactly what he was doing there. By the way, let's see what's happening over at Augsburg Dortmund. It's 1-0 to Dortmund. It's so sad seeing Dortmund without the Gio there, man. So sad. Justin Jefferson has a tutorial. Okay. All right, guys. Fine. If it makes you happy, if we qualify for the World Cup, I'll hit the gritty. I am warning you in advance. It is not going to be a good gritty. I am not a dancer. So Pulisic's gritty is probably far superior to mine. Justin Jefferson invented the gritty. Good to know. Act like you're a dancer. Of course, ESPN FC shitting on Pulisic as usual at half. I don't know because I have the sound off. What was Sadio Mane doing on that header, huh? Was he looking for somebody with it? Pulisic hit it bad. You can do better. Yeah, guys, we have to obviously we love Pulisic, right? We love our guys. We want to support them. But part of having a strong soccer culture is it's okay to criticize your players, especially your best ones, and recognizing when they do better. We have to be less biased about our own players and recognize when they need to do well. I don't think Pulisic's had a bad game. I think he's been involved in a lot of good things that Chelsea has done on the counter, but it's fair to say he should have done better with that shot. Now, that being said, both Mount and Havertz should have done better with their shots too. So let's not pretend it was just a Pulisic issue. All right, here's an interesting thought where people are talking about Russia and what's going on. Now, this is not a political channel, guys, so I don't want to talk too much about what's going on over there. But it's soccer related. Some people are calling for Russia to be kicked out of the World Cup. While I understand the sentiment, guys, I have several thoughts. On the one hand, you set a very dangerous precedent when you say if a country goes to war or attacks another country, then they should miss the World Cup. Because as Americans, you could easily make the argument, and I'm not saying I agree with this, but you could make the argument that, well, if we went into Afghanistan or Iraq or Syria or any other country, then we should miss the World Cup, right? I'm not saying that's the right opinion, but if you kick Russia out of the World Cup, don't you think then there's a certain case for, well, look, America's doing the same thing. Let's kick them out. And I realize they're very different situations, but it's something to think about. I just think it sets a very dangerous precedent. On top of that, I mean, anybody's seen the Russian protests? People are protesting their own government going to war, right? There's also an argument that why should you punish the Russian players, right? Do we want to be punished for everything that our government does? Look, I don't agree with a lot of American foreign policy, guys. I don't want to be, categorized with everything that America does around the world, So I would extend that same courtesy to other countries where I've met many Russians. They're some of the nicest people in the world. And I would feel bad for the citizens and for the footballers, right, that they would have to miss a World Cup because something that a government that they didn't even really elect, okay, at least we elect our governments. At least we have some say in our leadership, right? They don't really have that in Russia. So you don't have a choice. Putin decides to go to war, and now you have to miss a World Cup as a result. You know what I'm saying? So I personally am not a fan of kicking Russia out of the World Cup, although I understand why people are calling for it. And I'm definitely very against, them going into Ukraine. And by the way, guys, I don't want this to make this a Ukraine-Russia stream, but I've been really inspired by the Ukrainian resistance. Zelensky is a fucking hero. Like the fact that he was offered by Joe Biden to evacuate, and he said, I don't need a ride. I need, ammunition, and is there leading, fighting in the trenches with his people. And apparently they're doing okay. They're holding them off, right? They're holding off the Russians for right now. How long will that last? I don't know. This is a very powerful Russian military. So we'll see, right? So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But I'm rooting for Ukraine. Obviously, we want Ukraine to be free. We want Ukraine to not be occupied by Russia. And I'm definitely holding out that they do well. Okay, Football Kings. Here we go. No more politics. To answer your question from earlier, yeah. I'm a Mexican American. I was born in California to Mexican parents. But I do root for the U.S. except against Mexico. I grew up supporting Mexico. So, yeah, I get that, man. I get that. Look, I'm not Mexican American. I don't know what it's like to have, loyalty to both teams. Ultimately, I think it's great. You support Mexico as number one. And then when the U.S. is not playing Mexico, you support the U.S. Look, there's a chance that Mexico could be knocked out in the World Cup before the U.S. if you both qualify. At least now you've got a second team. If I get knocked out, if the U.S. gets knocked out, who's my second team? Right? I don't know. Probably Germany. Honestly, I was thinking about, because Tack was asking me for the World Cup. He's like, Brazil's my other team. Who's your other team? And I'm like, I don't really have anybody. There's two teams. One of them is England. I have a soft spot for the English national team because I lived there for some time and I made a lot of friends there. And so yeah, I have a soft spot for the English national team. The thing that turns me off for the English national team is the overhyping that the British media likes to do, and the general arrogance of the English football punditry, right? That kind of turns me off. The other option would be Germany for two reasons. One, my girlfriend is German, so that would definitely. Two, nobody in Europe, no country in Europe has done more to help develop American soccer and give opportunities to Americans than Germany, right? Christian Pulisic and Gio Reyna were both, got their starts in Germany. Obviously, all these guys, Ricardo Pepi, Joe Scally, we've had a lot of German Americans represent us, right? Fabian Johnson, Julian Green, John Brooks, Timmy Chandler, right? So Germany would probably be my second team. So, yeah. Hopefully the U.S. makes it. Hopefully they can do decent, but probably going to be Germany. So I get, but yeah, Football Kings, my point to you is I get where you're coming from, being born and raised here, having Mexican parents, Mexican culture, growing up watching Mexican soccer. I get it. Maybe one day we'll change your mind, though. Maybe one day we'll change your mind. All right. Speaking of dual nats, any thoughts on Sam Sashua from Tenerife? Plays the position of need and is supposedly willing to commit to the U.S. I have no idea who this is. I'm not going to lie. Let me look him up real quick. Sam Shashua. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Sam Shashua. 22 years old, English professional footballer who plays as an attacking midfielder. That would be interesting. I don't know if Greg would call him in if he might be too technical for Greg. Greg doesn't like, Greg's not a big fan of technical midfielders. Although I should give Greg his due. He did finally give Luca De La Torre a start. So that was good to see. Chris Gary. I'd start Acosta versus El Tree. Same. MMA midfield. The problem with No Weston is that we don't have that physical BBM guy, but Acosta can somewhat do that. Look, there is obviously there's a lot of discussion about Acosta, right? How good is he? How consistent can he be playing at the 6? I think that game against Mexico is a good opportunity for Acosta to make his case, right? I still think that when you compress time and space with Acosta, there are issues there, okay? And that sometimes he can be very good, sometimes not so much. I don't think he's as good as people are basing over his last game because he got a few good set pieces. I would still start Acosta against Mexico because I'd want to save Tyler Adams for Panama. And ultimately, Panama is the most important game. And let's face it, for Kellen, if you're not good against Mexico away, maybe you shouldn't be at a World Cup, right? That should be his case maker to go to the World Cup as our backup 6. So I would start Acosta. I would probably start, what's his name? Luca De La Torre next to him, though, because Luca De La Torre has played in a double pivot this year for Heracles. Okay, so he's also really good defending in transition, which is going to be important against Mexico. And then obviously you have, when we have the ball, when we're attacking, you give De La Torre a little bit more freedom to push forward and join who I would have in attack, probably Christian Pulisic. I would put Christian Pulisic centrally as an attacking midfielder with Acosta and De La Torre behind him. And then I would have Weah and Aronson on the wings and Pepe up top. Now, Greg is not going to do that. Very likely we're going to see, I'm curious about what Greg is going to do. I think very likely we're going to see Musa, Acosta, and I want to say De La Torre, but knowing Greg, it could be legit, guys. Like, I don't know. I don't know what Greg is going to do. I'm very curious. I'm very curious what Greg's going to do. We also have to see how healthy Gio Reyna is. You know, he might be back, quote unquote. I wouldn't start him in the Azteca right away because he would barely be back. And we also have to protect his long-term health. We can't just he's back, throw him in, right? We don't want him getting injured again. He's a huge high ceiling player for us, guys. We have to protect him and not rush him back. Matt Poloquin, can you explain what a double pivot is? Oh, by the way, thank you, Chris Gary, for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Here we go. All right, double pivot. So, perfect. I've already got it all set up here. Let's take blue out for now. Let's imagine red is the US. Now, typically, the way that Greg plays is in a 4-3-3. And a lot of you guys know this already. I realize that. I'm just explaining it since Matt asked. This is how we play. 4 midfielders, a holding sort of defensive midfielder, and then what we call the dual 8s. So 2 attacking midfielders who are more box-to-box rather than attacking. And then 3 guys up top, Weah, Pepe, or whoever that is. 4-3-3. The problem, in my opinion, with this system is it's very vulnerable to counterattack, right? It's very vulnerable to attacking transitions, especially because Greg wants Anthony Robinson and Serginho Dest high up the field. So now when we lose possession, we're very, very vulnerable at the back. And we've seen this over and over again in World Cup qualifying. In fact, the only reason why we haven't seen it more is because of the lack of quality, right, of teams that can hurt us on the counterattack. Canada did. Not every team has the quality to be able to do that. But in my opinion, it's a very vulnerable formation. What I would do if you have to play a 4-3-3 is at least alternate, okay? If Serginho Dest is up the field, tell Anthony Robinson to stay back. So you're sort of playing in a back 3 with Tyler Adams, okay? When vice versa. Serginho Dest, hold your position when Anthony Robinson is bombing up the field. But what we're talking about is a 4-2-3-1. So now you have a double pivot. Instead of 2 attacking midfielders, you almost have 2 defensive midfielders. For me, this would be against Mexico, Acosta and De La Torre, right? And those defensive midfielders give you a little bit more freedom to go forward because your back 2 are protected by a double pivot instead of a single player. So that's basically what a double pivot means. But for me, I would still tell Luca De La Torre, who, by the way, is very good in attacking transitions, to get forward. And then again, with Serginho Dest and Anthony Robinson, can we alternate bombing up the field so we're not so vulnerable defensively? Remember, last time against Mexico, it could have been 2-0 down after 20 minutes. Zach Steffen made 2 good saves. So I just think I like that Greg wants to attack. I like that he wants to overwhelm players with the ball. Overwhelm opponents with the ball. I just think you have to be constantly thinking about how vulnerable you are. If you lose the ball, how are we set up to defend in transition? And most of the time, very poor. So that's my overly long explanation of what a double pivot is. Second half is starting, guys. 0-0. See what happens here. Pulisic is still on the field, so clearly not injured. Man, I just want a Pulisic winner right now to shut up all the Chelsea fans that hate him. Come on, come on, come on. Oh! Let's see. Thanks, Ruben. Rico Poe. I'm very scared of what Greg is going to do. We're all scared, Rico. Every single one of us is like, what is going to happen? We don't know. Sovereign Lewis. Thomas Tuchel is not happy. Do you think Serginho has improved under Xavi? I think it's too early to say if he's improved or if he's just found better form, right? Improving is usually more evident over the long term, but he's definitely played really well in the last few games. So hopefully he continues to get playing time and get more chances. This is why when our players are playing at very big clubs, I don't like to be overly reactionary to their playing time, okay? Just because unless you're like Messi or Ronaldo or Neymar or, a top 10 player in the world, most big clubs have a certain amount of rotation, right? Managers come and go, coaches try different things. And those are environments where players cannot expect to start all the time, even when they are playing well. And oftentimes they can't expect to play in their best position. And what they need to do when a new coach comes in, just like every other player on the field, is they need to get their heads down, work hard, do what the coach wants them to do, and try to improve, right? This is what Pulisic has had to do with Tuchel, right? This is what Serginho Dest has had to do with Xavi. And ultimately, it makes them better players. Because Clint Dempsey, guys, anybody who remembers, Clint Dempsey had to do this over and over again, not even with the big club, at Fulham, right? You guys remember this. He would play well under one coach. The coach would be sacked. The new guy would come in, either bench him or send him to the reserves, didn't rate him. He would have to grind and hustle, work hard, try to prove that coach wrong. And that's not easy to do. And it made Dempsey a better player for it. So with Dest, with Pulisic, even with Adams to a degree, even Weston McKennie. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a time where he wasn't playing very well for Juve. And there were question marks about him. But he got his head down. He hustled. He improved. He took on board probably whatever the notes that the coaching staff was giving him, and it made him a better player. This is what it means to play at the highest level. You are constantly challenged day in and day out to be at your best. Your level drops even 2 or 3%. Somebody else ready to take your spot, and that's just the truth. So I'm not overly reactionary with these bigger clubs. When you're playing for one of the bigger clubs in the world, I understand there's going to be a certain amount of ups and downs. So yeah, I would say I'm glad to see Serginho Dest playing better. Has he improved as a player? I don't know. It might be too early to say that. It could just be hitting some good form. And we also have to think about, confidence and consistency and the roles that those play in young players. Pulisic had a nice little layoff there earlier for Mount. Oh, what a ball. What a ball. Finish it. Oh! How does Mason Mount miss that? How does Mount? That was from Pulisic. What a beautiful little chip pass from Christian Pulisic. And Mason Mount hits the post. And is he going to get the same grief that Pulisic got? No. What a ball, Pulisic. What a ball. Oh my God, Mason. I swear to God, if Mason was American, they'd be demanding he get off the field. Oh, guys. They'll still say Pulisic missed it. That's 2 big chances that Mount has missed now, guys. 2 big chances. And Pulisic has created some really nice chances from central positions. So after that miss earlier, Pulisic has been really good. How does Mount miss that? I don't know. I do not know. Crash Bandicoot says they'll blame it on Pulisic somehow. LOL. Okay, I missed a super chat. I need to go back and find it. Spencer Doherty. Would you bring Ramirez or Pifok? Brendan at the 8. I would probably bring Pifok. I think that Pifok has issues, right? I don't think that Pifok is a long-term starter for us. I don't think he's a very high-ceiling player. I think he lacks dynamism. I think his movement off the ball is not great. He is good enough at finishing crosses, particularly with his head. But that being said, he is scoring goals regularly, right? And yes, it's in the Swiss League, but he is scoring goals. And more importantly, Pifok offers us something different, right? him or DK offer us a certain physicality, a certain ability in the air that I think is important, right? So I would bring Pifok. I probably wouldn't start Pifok, but I would bring him because if you're 1-0 down to Mexico or 0-0 with Panama in the 70th minute and you need a goal, you bring him on and you play two guys up top. And maybe you get, if you're, especially because of the way Berhalter wants to play, right? He's constantly having our guys put crosses into the box. So if that's the case, well, you need somebody in the box who's going to finish those. You know what I mean? Can Pifok do it? Maybe. He hasn't been great for the national team, let's be honest. We also have Josh Sargent as another guy that I think it's time to call him back in. He's doing his best out of position for a very rough club. Again, he didn't perform very well for the national team, and that's why he's not there and hasn't been, right? But I think it's been 3 or 4 camps now that we haven't seen him, and, you know, Pepe isn't in the best form either, right? Let's be honest. Pepe's struggling. I think I would bring Pepe, Pifok, and Sargent. Those are the 3 strikers I would bring in. Yeah, that would have been a beautiful assist for Christian Pulisic, man. Beautiful assist. Only Mount could finish. It'd be good for Pulisic's confidence, though. He seems to be hitting confidence just at the right time. What he needs to do is play this way for the national team. We need to get Pulisic playing calm, not trying to do hero ball, right? Not over-dribbling, not trying to take everybody on. We need a calm, confident Pulisic in this last window and a healthy Pulisic. As far as Brendan at the 8, Spencer, he doesn't really play the 8 for Salzburg. People are saying he plays centrally. He plays more as like a second forward. He's not very involved in the buildup. The only time we've seen Brendan play at the 8 for the national team was against El Salvador, where he was not good. That doesn't mean he can't play at the 8. I'd be open to seeing it again, but I have question marks because it's not where he plays for Salzburg. I know he plays centrally, but he plays more like a 10/second forward. So I'm open to seeing it tried, but I'm unconvinced. That's my thoughts on Brendan at the 8. But thank you. Chris Gary, I'd bring Zardes, Josie, and Wondolowski. If GGG actually picks players based on form, like he says he does, Pifok should be starting against Mexico, no questions asked. No one else deserves that start right now. Well, we all know that it's very little to do with form, right, with Greg. We know this. This is not new information. And to be fair to Greg, there's a certain element of, does this player fit with the way I want to play, right? And if they don't, maybe you don't call them in. The counter to that is, with the national team, you shouldn't have a stubborn style of play and demand that players play that way, and so only then call in players who fit the way that you want to play. You should figure out who your best players are, who are the guys that are going to carry you, and then go, I'm going to set these guys up for success. I'm going to play in such a way that highlights their strengths, that takes advantage of their strengths, and covers for their weaknesses. And we just, in my opinion, have not seen Greg set us up to do that. 11 Yank. Chances Aaron Long is called in 125%. 125%. Okay. Aaron Long was called into 3 camps while he was injured. 3 camps. All right. So yeah, he's going to be there. Whether you think he should be there or not, different question. He's going to be there. This is a good point by Jordy here. Form must be assessed in terms of against who and what league. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely, it should. Right? There's a difference between scoring goals in Switzerland and MLS and the Premier League. Right? There's a difference. Massive, massive difference. And what's interesting to me is a lot of people, is Azpilicueta injured, a lot of people who are saying that we shouldn't call in players in Europe who are not playing for their clubs will still demand we call in Jassy Zardes, even if he doesn't start for the Crew. All right, bye, Football King. See ya. Good luck at work. Oh, who's coming on for Liverpool? Oh, it's Chelsea. What's his name? Reece James is coming on for Azpilicueta. Yeah, this is a fair point. Swiss League is worse than MLS. I don't know if it's necessarily. I mean, I think worse, better. Yeah, I think you can make an argument that it's worse. For sure. Speed of play is probably better in the Swiss League, right? In terms of the time and space that you're afforded, but in terms of actual quality of play, yes, the Swiss League is probably worse than MLS, and that absolutely matters, right? I agree with that. But again, it's not so much about like having PFOC there to start. I would have PFOC there as a bench option if you need something different. Honestly, I'd probably get DK. DK and PFOC for me are very similar players. Technically, not so good. But when you need something different in the air, when you need to be pounding crosses into the box, someone who can get on the end of those. So again, it's less about the form he's in. It's less about where he plays. It's more about the type of player that he is, and can he offer us something different when things aren't working. The problem with Greg Berhalter is he doesn't want something different, right? When things aren't working, he goes plug and play, right? He'll bring in the exact same position for a guy. He won't change things up. We won't see a formation switch. It'll be the same thing, right? Against Canada, Adams off. Okay, we just put Kellen Acosta, right? What's his name off? Brendan Aarons, Tim Weah off, Paul Arriola. It's like for like. He sticks to this 4-3-3 endlessly and relentlessly. So we don't see a ton of like movement and switching things around when we need it. But that's a whole different conversation. Matt Poliquin. When both are in top form, who is more important to the USMNT? McKennie or Pulisic? Also, Pete and Tack should have a giddy off live on stream. It's a good question. I think Christian Pulisic. I think that Pulisic, when he's in form, is a top 10 winger in the world. I really believe that. Like when Pulisic was playing for, those 6 months at Chelsea, where he was probably one of the best players in the Premier League, best attackers at least, that's who he can be, right? When Pulisic is confident, playing in a position that suits him, he is amazing. His explosiveness, his speed, his work on the ball, not his work on the ball, but his ability on the ball, his 1v1 ability is second to none. Find Puli! Oh, that was so close. The problem with Pulisic is that many times, especially after Cuba, we've seen him play too much hero ball for the national team. We haven't seen him produce enough. He's still got crucial goals and, big goals for us when it mattered, against Mexico especially. But we haven't ever really seen him take over a game for the national team since Cuba. And a lot of that, I think, is mental. Hopefully, Pulisic is getting back to a place now where he can be calm and composed on the ball. We saw that against Honduras, for example, right? We saw him be very calm, very composed, not try to play hero ball, and he was dangerous. I hope we see more of that Christian Pulisic for the national team, because he makes us so much better when he's like that, McKennie can also be a top 10 midfielder in the world. Honestly, he's been one of, Juve's best players. And the thing about McKennie that makes him so important is that McKennie doesn't seem to care about the pressure. Like, McKennie's not the kind of guy. He's a very carefree guy, right? You don't see him awed by the moment or carrying the weight of the team on his shoulders. Sometimes that can make him do things that are not great, as we saw in Nashville. But because he doesn't give a shit, the pressure does not get to him. He plays freely. He plays like he's having fun, like he's enjoying himself. And that makes him, that's a nasty challenge on Chalobah. Jesus, Mane. Oh, it's Keita. Oh my God. Ouch, that's got to hurt. Oh, that's got to hurt. Whew. Yeah, not fun. Not fun, people. That's got to be a red card, right? Studs up challenge. It's got to be a red card. And Matt, I don't think we're going to have a giddy. I don't think we're going to have a giddy off. Although I would love to see Tack giddy. That would be hilarious. John, why does Greg keep calling up Gabi Slonina? Because I think he's a high-ceiling young goalkeeper, and we want to keep him away from Poland. So I don't hate it. right? I don't think he should be our third goalkeeper right now. I think we should focus on him with the under-20s. Remember, guys, this summer, this June, we have the under-20 CONCACAF Championship, right? Which is really important because it's going to help us. It's the qualification for both the World Cup, the under-20 World Cup next year, and the Olympics in 2024. So it's a really important tournament, and that's where we need Gabi Slonina playing. Not just Gabi Slonina. We need all these young under-20 guys in MLS, Caden Clark, Paxton Aronson, Jack McLean, Quinn Sullivan, Cade Cowell, even guys like Kevin Paredes or, we need all of these guys, maybe even Jonathan Gomez, right? Justin Shea, maybe even Joe Scally, if we can get him from the offseason. We need to have as many of our strongest players as possible playing in this tournament in order to make sure, because if we can't miss the under-20 World Cup and the under-20 and the Olympics. Those are two huge tournaments to prepare the young crop of guys that are going to be, a lot of them are going to be part of the roster in 2026, right? So really important that we get that right, and Gabi Slonina is our keeper for that. Hopefully continues to do well. Did anybody see the Chicago game yesterday? I was not able to watch it. Did anybody see how he played? Pulisic takes the ball. Oh, I just love the explosiveness from Pulisic, and then he gives it away. That could have been a beautiful assist for Christian Pulisic, man. That could have been a beautiful assist. How does Mount miss that? I don't understand. I don't understand. Cause you only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. You only know you love her when you let her go. And you let it go. Ooh, come on. Kante. Oof. Kante is an amazing player. Such an amazing player. Would never be valued in the American system. We'd be like, too small, not physical enough. I mean, now he is very physical, but when he was younger, playing in France, he was very scrawny, and he only got an opportunity because they valued his technique. Here's an interesting question. Hey, Pete. Hey, Kyle. What USMNT games have you been to and seen live? Honest answer, 0. I have never been to a national team game live. It just hasn't always worked out. I would love to at some point, though. I would love to. I was thinking about going to the one here in LA in December, but I knew it was going to be like Christian Roldan, and I was just like, that's not some. Salah. Wow, this is really the cup final of misses, huh? Jesus. Sorry, excuse my cursing, everybody. I don't mean to. How does Salah miss that? Wow. Jesus. He's onside. Doesn't even hit the target. Chips it so slowly it doesn't even get to the goal line. Wow. This is the final of misses from both teams. Does this go to penalties, guys? Do you think this goes to penalties? The question is, does it go to extra time or does it go to penalties? Does anybody know? See what's happening over with Pepe in Dortmund. Liverpool have a ton of possession. Still 1-0 over there. 61st minute. Still 1-0. I haven't been watching the game, but a lot of guys are saying he's not getting enough service. Kyle Dow said, that is fascinating. I just went to my first game last month versus El Salvador. Hope you get the chance to see one soon. Maybe one day. Oh, did Pepe is Pepe out of that game? They pulled him off, huh? Oh, no. Rough time for Pepe. But, guys, this is good for him. It'll make him a better player. Honestly, competing day in and day out in this environment will make Pepe a better player long term. Short term, it might not be good for his confidence, right? You could make the argument that if he'd stayed in Dallas another year, short term, he'd probably be more confident and producing right now. And that's fair. And honestly, I probably wouldn't have hated that. Last year was his first ever year as a starter, as a regular starter. So I wouldn't have hated him spending maybe one more year in Dallas. But Pepe wants to play at the highest level and wants to be the best possible player he can be. And so he understands that to do that, you need to go early. You need to go early. You need to play regularly. You need to be challenged, right? You need to be uncomfortable, to borrow a Klinsmann favorite word of his. So yeah, good for him. And long term, he will be a better player. He just will, right? Jose Lopez, Sargent. Ooh, Liverpool score. God damn. Liverpool. Terrible defending from Chelsea, man. Terrible defending. Joel Matip. So I believe Jose Lopez is talking about Salah's miss, right? Yeah, you're right. He would have been killed for a miss like that, but he also doesn't have a bunch of other goals to... You forgive a player a miss like that if they've got 20 goals on the season already, right? So terrible defending on the set piece. Ball is in. Nobody tracks Mane's run. Nobody tracks Joel Matip at the far post. Terrible set piece organization. Terrible defending. Terrible. Ooh, Mane down. Thiago Silva's ball watching, not checking his shoulder. And Matip scores. 1-0 Liverpool. All right. Now, what can Chelsea respond with? We will see. Joel Matip. Where is Matip from, guys? Where is he Dutch? He can't be Dutch. Joel Matip is German? Yeah, he's German. Born and raised in Bochum. Oh, he's from Cameroon. Is he both? Is nationality? He's got both German and Cameroonian citizenship. Let's see who he represents. I believe he represents Cameroon. Okay, so he's a Cameroon international. All right. Oh, hang on. VAR review. What are they reviewing here? Is he offside? There's no way he was offside. What are they reviewing? No. Oh, impeding? Let's have a look. Oh, I see. Van Dijk stop. Oh, yeah. Impeding James. Ooh, it's tight. I think he did impede him a little bit, but a lot of referees wouldn't give that. Just an arm around the chest. Yeah, he definitely impeded him. No goal. All right. Probably the right call. It's still 0-0. Chelsea has a chance to do this. Come on, Pulisic. Virgil van Dijk. Oh, the Chelsea fans are so happy. Where's the clear and obvious standard now? Trey, there is no clear and obvious with some things. Some things are not clear and obvious. It's down to a decision. Did he impede him? I think so. I think he did impede him for sure. I've also seen referees not give that and be like, it's just an arm around the chest. It's not enough for me to give it. So could have gone either way, but I think it's probably the right call, in my opinion. And I know Liverpool fans are probably going to hate me for saying that. All right, so now Chelsea have a big let-off here, and there's 20 minutes to go. Come on, guys. They spend so long in the build-out. Like, when Chelsea has an opportunity on the counter, they're so poor. Whoa. Thiago Silva, last-ditch tackle. Is Mendy injured? Or is he just time wasting? Luis Diaz gets past Chaloba. Oh, no, he didn't touch the ball. He didn't touch the ball. Mane shot over. Mane shot over, and Thiago Silva didn't touch him, but he ran into Mendy on the way. I think Mendy's fine, though. Looks like he's overreacting a little. All right, Liverpool corner. How is that a corner? Did it really hit him? Did that look like a corner to you guys? So Chris Gary is asking, ooh, save Mendy. Chris is asking this. Is there extra time? That's the question. If this finishes in a draw, do we go to extra time or does it go straight to penalties? Honestly, I'd rather just go straight to penalties, to be honest. But extra time is fun too. We'll be here even longer. Woohoo! How's everybody doing? It would go to extra time, Paul says. All right. Looks like we'll be here even longer hanging out, guys. Anybody watching some of the MLS games today? I'm watching Montreal, Orlando after this. I want to see how Mihailovic does. Let me see what the other options are. I'll pull it up for you guys. I think we have 5 MLS games today, right? Let's see. That's on Tuesday, people. Okay, today, Sunday, these are the games available to us. Share screen. Sketch on scores. All right, we've got Orlando versus Montreal. I don't think Tack is watching this one because he's got Mariana there. So I'll be watching that one to keep an eye on Georgi Mihailovic. Atlanta United versus Kansas City. Interesting one. Big team. George Campbell and Caleb Wiley and Tyler Wolf are guys to watch on. All right, let's see who's coming off here. Guys to watch on Atlanta. Mason Mount coming off. All right, Mason. George Campbell, Tyler Wolf, and Caleb Wiley. I don't know how much any of them is going to play. Obviously, the guy to watch is Miles Robinson as well from a USMNT perspective. And Kansas City, you got Caden Pierre and Cam Duke, who are the guys to watch. LA versus New York. Galaxy doesn't have anybody, to be honest. New York City has right now just Tavon Gray, to be honest. That are likely to play. I know they have some sub guys, but guys that are likely to play. Real Salt Lake versus Houston. Boring. Seattle versus Nashville. Oh, Pulisic's off? God dang it. Really? Great, guys. So now he can't score a penalty. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Now what? All right. Now I'm becoming a Liverpool fan. Now I want Liverpool to win this. Ooh, interesting. Okay. Seattle versus Nashville. You got Reed Baker-Whitting, Josh Atencio, and Obed Vargas to watch. Nashville doesn't really have anybody interesting. So I'll be keeping an eye on a lot of these games. Let's go Liverpool, Matt Bullequin. Oh, yeah. So interesting take by Chambers. Yesterday was the start of Steve Cherundolo's path to USMNT head coach for 2026. There's no way, buddy. There's no way. He would have to take the team next year. This is his first head coaching gig after Las Vegas Lights, and he was not good with Las Vegas. So, no, maybe 2030, not 2026. It's way too early for him. Way too early. See McCall. Pulisic off. You'll never walk alone. Oh, yep. Welcome to being an American soccer fan without European club loyalties. That's like me. I don't really have club loyalties in Europe. I like watching certain teams, but my loyalties are to the Americans playing in Europe. I don't even have club loyalties here in the U.S. Ooh, save Mendy on Luis Diaz. What is with this awful defending, huh? Is that Chaloba or is that on Reece James? I think it was on Chaloba. Oh, it was on James. Pulisic, most dangerous player tonight. Yeah, I would agree with this, Luca. Created 2 good opportunities, had the shot on target. Probably should have done better with that for sure. I think open his body up more and try to get it away from the keeper. But, had a good set up, a really beautiful goal opportunity for Mason Mount. That had to be a goal, 1v1 with the keeper with time and space. And then, had a couple of other really good incisive balls that were cutting open their back line. So I thought he was definitely one of their most dangerous players tonight. I agree with that. S27, thought on Pulisic's performance, I give him an 8. Yeah, I think 8 is fair, maybe 7.5, because, 7.5 is, I think, fair. Would have been higher if he had scored that goal. But you can't not score a big chance like that and then get a super high rating. So, Jordi Comas. Nashville makes me think of Zimmerman, which makes me think of Man Buns and Triple G. It seems any roster must have at least one Ream or Zimmerman. Yeah, man. I mean, Zimmerman has been good for us the last couple of games. So I don't mind him being there as much. We're going to have to see, again, it's consistency, right? What's interesting about Zimmerman is the only reason he got an opportunity with the U.S. at all is because John Brooks got injured. Do you remember? It was in the second camp when we played Panama, Costa Rica, and Jamaica. It was the second camp. John Brooks had a back injury, and Zimmerman came in late and ended up starting. And I think, was it that or was it the third game? Maybe it was the third game. Honestly, I don't remember. But the point is, he didn't really get a chance from Triple G until circumstances forced Triple G's hands, and then he performed. He took his chance well. But it's interesting how many players that happens with Triple G, with Greg. Havertz, goal. Offside. Okay, back to what I was saying. Tim Weah gets an opportunity because Paul Arriola is injured, right, against Jamaica, does really well, goes on to become one of our better players in qualifying. Oh, yeah, Werner was offside there, right? Same thing happens with Zimmerman. Luca De La Torre finally gets an opportunity because, Gianluca Busio has COVID, performs really well. Now will probably become a strong member of the squad. We've seen this with players where it was like they didn't get an opportunity because Greg rated them or was good at player evaluation. They got an opportunity because there was nobody else, and all of a sudden they became a standout and are now a regular part of the roster. This speaks to, in my opinion, Greg's ability to evaluate talent, which is questionable at best. Does De La Torre need a summer move? It's a good question. His contract is actually over this summer. He is out of contract with Heracles. So he's a free agent, as I understand it. Yeah, so he can actually move wherever he wants. The key for De La Torre will be to go somewhere, like don't go too high, right? Don't pick a super club. Don't go to a team that wants you as a depth piece. Go to a team where you're going to get regular playing time and continue to grow as a player. Where should he go? That's a good question. There are several options. He could either go to a better team in Holland, okay, maybe a Feyenoord or a PSV. Not sure how much time he would get at Ajax, okay, but maybe to a better team. Maybe he could go to a Salzburg. Honestly, where I think De La Torre would be really good is in Spain. I think in La Liga, because I think he's the kind of player that they love in Spain, right? Very technical, very good on the ball, excellent vision, loves to have the ball, can play in tight spaces, good on the half turn. So I would say mid-table La Liga team would be a good spot for him. You don't want him to go too high, okay, but maybe somewhere where he can really get regular playing time and be effective and continue to grow as a player. I don't know exactly where that would be. Maybe Real Betis. Okay, if Guardado this summer comes to MLS or back to Mexico, maybe DLT going to Betis could be an interesting one. I could see that happening. Yes, guys, don't forget to smash that like button. Thanks, Rico, for reminding me. I always forget. Tack always gets on my case about this. Still 0-0, 81st minute. Not going to lie, I've lost a fair bit of interest in the game now that our guy Christian Pulisic is off. But we'll stay until the end. This is a live stream for the game, not just for Christian Pulisic. So we will stay against the end. If anybody's interested, Orlando and Montreal is kicked off. So if anybody wants to check out, let me go see that starting lineup. See if Georgie is starting. All right, Orlando. This is in Orlando. Nobody very interesting from an American perspective, except for Benji Michel. Some of you guys might remember him. Alexander Pato. What is going on with this club? Okay. Georgi Mihailovic is starting, so he will be there. Other than that, Miljevic could be an option. 20 years old, right? Someone to watch as well, Matko Miljevic. But I think for me, the big draw for this game would be Matip. Jesus, Matip is so dangerous. Oh, Jordan Henderson. Blast it over the bar. Oh, it's James Milner. Sorry. Still applies. James Milner over the bar. But you know what, mate? It's not just that he's missed it. And certainly you can put a certain amount of, he's got to be better there, right? You've got to at least put that on target. But, and this is what you love about Milner, right? The desire to get in there, right? He's a guy who doesn't pass it and then, watch the game. He's making one of them lung-busting runs into the box, make sure he can get on the end of that. And that's exactly what you want. He's a man, he's been here for 10 years at Liverpool. He knows the roster. He knows the fans. He loves the team. He's one of those guys that always leaves everything out on the field. And all the other cliches that we like to say in the Premier League about English players. Yeah. And that's why he's got a place in this team for Jurgen Klopp, because he's going to do the little things that no one else does. And ultimately, that's why he's playing at this level for so long, because of what he does, the effort, the work rate, the desire, the passion. Gotta love it from James. Lewis Redding says, respect Milner. The guy's like 37. I do respect him, buddy. I'm just making fun of British commentators here. Pete, do you ever want to be a coach at any level? I did. So I did coach, Luca. I coached for a long time, for about 8 years. And I loved coaching. But it just, things worked out in my life that I had a career change and moved into acting. I definitely want to stay in soccer. But I feel like I've kind of found my calling with soccer of helping to grow the game by doing this, right? Having the YouTube channel, talking about the national team, talking about MLS, talking about how we can be better, right? Providing or being part rather of a community where we can all come and hang out, American fans, and talk about soccer. And, a lot of us come from environments where our friends and family maybe don't like soccer. And so this community for a lot of us is a place where we can come and, our passion and our love for the game. I think this is an important part of growing the game in the US. So I'm not going to say I'd never coach again, right? If the opportunity comes along, I would consider it. But I think very likely my path right now, at least, is this, right? Trying to be a part of and provide this community for everybody. See McCall, Pete, they should cash you as Santiago Munoz in goal 3. Except I'm like almost old enough to be Santiago Munoz's dad. Literally Matt Poliquin. Literally no one in my friend and family circle likes soccer. In fact, they all mock it. Yeah, man. It's a big problem, right? That's the problem with, there are so many soccer fans in this country. We're just all spread out, right? And that's why we have to come online and meet here. And don't worry about your friends and family mocking it. When the U.S. does well, they'll get behind it, right? When the U.S. does well at a World Cup, then you're going to have more soccer fans. 2018 hurt us. Not going to a World Cup hurt us. A lot of casuals stopped taking us seriously. A lot of people who had could have had the opportunity. Oh, save. Jesus. It's crazy in the box just now. A lot of people had the opportunity to become, soccer fans because of the World Cup. And they didn't because we weren't there. So it hurts. It hurt us for sure. Hopefully we don't miss 2022. If we miss 2022, it'd be very tough for the game in this country. Sloan Hyde says, my family and friends never knew about soccer before I introduced them, and now some of them have actually really taken to it, especially the girlfriend. Awesome, Sloan. Good for you. Really hope the game keeps spreading thanks to people like you. And you, Sloan. You're the one that's, being an evangelist for the game. Look, you got your girlfriend, right? I can't even get my girlfriend into soccer. So maybe I'm not as good an evangelist for the game as I think. And she's German. So thanks, Luca. Luca says, I found you guys, tacking you since Nations League and been watching since. Awesome, man. Thank you for watching. Thanks for all the support. Ramiro Castro says, that is slowly changing with time. If you think the soccer fans are spread out, you should have seen it in 1990. Yeah, man, you're right. You're right. It was probably way worse. Ilyas Abdi, let's see. How is the lad at Barca Academy in Arizona doing? Oh, Varun, he's doing well from what I hear. I know he had an injury recently, but I think he's doing fine. I don't really keep in super regular touch with him, just a text every now and then, and I can't really watch any of his games because it's not like they're televised or anything. But I think he's doing well. From what he tells me, he's doing well. I really hope he succeeds. Even if like for him, success looks like getting a scholarship to go to college for free, that'd be huge for a kid like him. All right, 87th, 88th minute, still 0-0. We're gonna be going to extra time. We're gonna be here, aren't we? So Orlando City 0-0 with Montreal at the moment. The quality of this broadcast is terrible. Come on, guys. You got to do better than this. Oh, MLS. Looks like a very scrappy game so far. Really mostly interested in to see how Georgi Mihailovic is performing. But I've got to watch two English clubs I don't care about playing soccer. All right. Catch 22. If we do well at the World Cup, then we are stuck with Berhalter for another 4 years. Oh, man. I'm not a fan of second cycles for coaches in World Cups. It doesn't work out. No matter how well they do in the first cycle, it typically does not work out the second time around. So I'm really not a fan of it. No matter how well he does, I don't think he should have a second window. Chris Ameling, American-born, percent of minutes in MLS has declined every year and now sits at roughly 40%. Is this a sign of the league just improving or not enough young American talent being produced? I don't think the amount of American talent being produced has changed, but I think that better American talent has been produced and then they end up leaving, right? If you look at the amount of American talent that's left the league, that's a better indicator of how the league is doing than having more Americans playing in the league. You have to remember also, MLS for a while was very heavily dependent on the draft system, right? We would draft mostly American players from college and they would go play in MLS. As MLS has improved, draft guys who spent 4 years in college are just not good enough anymore, right? The vast majority of them to play in MLS. That's why you see the draft becoming less and less important, right? And so instead of like going to the draft to try to find a center back, you're now trying to go to Europe or South America or Mexico or even your academy to find a center back. And that's why I think we've seen less Americans in the league. I'm less interested in quantity over quality, right? I want to see more. I want to see more quality Americans, not more Americans overall. Right? Not to mention how many teams there are too. More players have to come from everywhere to fill out all the slots. That's exactly it. The other side of that coin, all Hollywood, is that you have the green card situation where a lot of foreign players come and after a certain amount of years, they apply for their green card, which means that their spot in the roster doesn't count as an international spot anymore. So then the team can now go buy another foreigner. So as time, what a save, Mendy. Jesus. So over time, you get more and more foreigners because a lot of those foreigners are becoming, well, not American, but they're getting their green card, so they don't count as foreigners anymore. So there's a lot of different things, but I'm not really too worried about it because before we might have had a lot of Americans, but we weren't producing a lot of quality Americans, right? Now we're producing more quality Americans. And honestly, having good quality foreigners coming into the league is good for the league. It's good for our ecosystem. It's good to get their perspective on the game. To get, training habits. If they're good quality, obviously, not just because they're a foreigner. What I like to see about MLS is we seem to be, for the most part, moving away from really old players, right? We're not signing as many ancient players just because they were a big star. Now, the two teams that seem to be defying that are the LA Galaxy, who are still stuck in 2010, and Lukaku. Are the LA Galaxy and Orlando. They still keep signing these Ancient of Days players. And it's like, guys, chill. Come on, MLS has moved on from that now. No. C. McCall says, MLS Next is already a better level than college, and it sets up players 10 times better for a professional life. I agree. The academy system, players playing in a professional environment with regular games where the goal is development, is way better than going to college. And that's why we see players not going to college as much anymore. Now, some people will make the argument, well, there are still some guys in college who are quote unquote gems. Daryl DK, Kyle Larin, guys like that. My argument is that Daryl DK, for example, A, he didn't spend 4 years in college. He spent 2. There's a massive difference. B, Daryl DK still has a lot of technical deficiencies, right? And I don't know if he had spent those 2 years in a professional academy environment, would he be better technically, right? Would he be better? Right, that's fair. Even Jordan Morris. Like, people get on Jordan Morris for staying in Seattle, but I actually think Jordan Morris's biggest mistake was not, staying in Seattle. I think his biggest mistake was spending 3 years in college. Spending 3 years in Stanford during crucial development years put a ceiling on his technical development. So, yes, you can find quote-unquote gems in college, but the question should be, how good would they have been if they had spent those 4 years or 3 years or 2 years in a professional development environment instead of college with a 3-month system where the play is terrible, the coaches are generally terrible. It's not about development. You're playing games every other day almost in a compressed schedule of 3 months, and development is not the focus. So, yeah. John. Do you prefer an informed Ethan Horvath or Matt Turner? Good question. I think Ethan Horvath, just because he can play with his feet and Matt Turner cannot, right? So I would say Ethan Horvath. But inform is a relative thing. Good question. Ilyas Abdi, how does the MLS Next work? That's a good question. It's basically like the reserve league for MLS now. So it's a reserve league. You can have some professional players in it, some academy players in it. It's sort of bridging the gap between the under 18 academy teams. And, if you're not ready, maybe you sign a homegrown contract, but you're not ready for the first team yet. So you go to MLS Next, which personally I preferred USL Pro, but we'll have to see how MLS Next works, if it's even a good idea. I preferred them going to USL, getting loaned out, because at least it's a pro environment playing against grown men. My worry is that MLS Next is basically just going to be a bunch of 18 and 19 and 20-year-olds playing against each other. And so therefore it's not the same level as playing against professionals in their late 20s. You know what I mean? S27. Horvath isn't good with his feet. He's a lot better with his feet than Turner. Okay, he can pass out of the back pretty well under pressure compared to Turner. Turner's big problem, guys, is he didn't start playing soccer until he was 14 years old. That is a big issue because technically he's going to always have that cap. He missed the golden age of technical development, which is 8 to 14 years old. He missed that completely. Same with Daryl DK. Didn't start playing soccer until he was 13 years old. You're only ever going to be so good, guys, if you start playing soccer at that age. That's just the truth. Which is why we need to get kids playing soccer at younger ages, not 12, 13 years old, right? All right. I don't know if I'm going to do extra time, guys. My voice is giving out here. It's 0-0. We're 6 minutes into extra time. I don't know if I'm going to do a full half an hour plus penalties. My voice is already going. Manav Shah, I don't really understand the Pulisic sub. He was playing quite well. Yeah, I don't really understand it either. And since then, Chelsea hasn't really created anything. All right, full time. We are going into extra time. I'm debating whether I should stay because my voice is going. Yeah, I told Tack to come, Chris, but Tack is with Mariana today, so he's on girlfriend duty. Adrian Hurt says stay. All right, let's take a vote, guys. Do you want me? If I get at least 25 people in the chat saying stay, I'll do the half an hour. Go. Let's see how this goes. So far, we have 1 from Adrian. Okay, let's see. We've got Ricky, S27, Adrian, Liam, What the Fortnite, Akshay, Butters, Cody. Oh, no, Cody said go. Matt, Wolf, James, Nate, John, Chris, Billy, Wolf. That's James. Kevin. Okay, fine. Yeah, we definitely. Oh, that's funny. All right. It's way more than 25. All right, I'll stay. Let me have a Ricola. That's what I will do. I'll have a Ricola. That'll help my throat. Kyle Wells, stay. Thanks, guys. Hunter Miller, you better stay now. Limfoul. Yeah, I've got to. I said I would. I'm a man of my word. I'll stay, and I'll just have Ricola for my throat. This Orlando Montreal broadcast is trash. Yeah, I was going to say, it's terrible viewing, man. This is not how you grow MLS. What American fan who doesn't watch soccer is going to pay attention to this? I love soccer, and I can barely pay attention to this. I don't know if it's the lighting or if it's the TV setting. The exposure setting seems really off. So Ilias, yes. Ideally, that's the point. It's like a reserve league. If you do well in MLS next, then you get an opportunity with the first team. So yeah, it's supposed to be development. Going into extra time, people. Nate Ackenbauer says, even some of the broadcasters for local broadcast are dreadful. Oh, my God, right? I remember watching, was it 2 years ago? There was a Dallas game on, and the local Dallas commentator literally had this ex-goalkeeper on for like 50. He was like 55 years old. He'd played in like some local leagues. And instead of broadcasting the game, he was literally chatting with his goalkeeper for 25 minutes while the game was going on. It was the most unprofessional broadcast I've ever heard in my life. And he didn't even seem slightly appalled by it. Chris Gary, if Liverpool win, will you belt out You'll Never Walk Alone? Sure, why not? If I have a voice at that point, I may not have a voice. I have a feeling this is going to penalties. Neither team looks like they're really going to win. I have a feeling we're going to penalties, guys. Yeah, BMR has it right. Luca, watch MLS for the young American prospects. That's what I do, man. I don't have a strong affiliation to any team. I watch LAFC because I try to support the local team. But I don't feel passionately about LAFC. I don't get particularly happy when they win. I don't get particularly sad when they lose. I just kind of watch them. But I watch teams that, are developing young Americans. This year it's Philly for me. It's mostly Dallas, but this year it's Philly because I think they have more high-ceiling young guys. Dallas has sold a lot of their young guys, right? Pepe and Che and whatnot. I like Pomacall, though. Pomacall, I'll be watching Ferreira to see what he does. I'm still not convinced he's a forward, but that's just me. Clearly, Emilio Estevez and Greg Berhalter disagree. Nate, who you got winning MLS Cup? Honestly, no idea. MLS Cup is not usually the best team. It's who gets lucky and finds form at the right time. So it could be anybody. It really could. Augsburg tied it up. Ooh, Dortmund. All right, we're in extra time now. We're going to do a full half an hour, aren't we? Oh, boy. Another half an hour of this. Here we go. Yes, thank you. You want to come say hi? You don't want to come say hi? Guys, do you want Nat to come say hi? Do you want my girlfriend to come say hi? Why not? They never get to meet you. Mariana goes on tax stream all the time. Matt Poliquin said they want you to call on camera. She's very shy. Oh, they're all saying yes. James, Kyle, Ramiro, BMR, Neri, Akshay, babe, they all want you to come say hi. Just a quick hello, KMA Preston says. Oh, yeah. She's coming, guys. You did it. And she brought me coffee. Thanks, babe. Come say hi. She just woke up, so she's a little shy. All right. Hey, they said to say hi in German. Guten Tag. Wait, no. Guten Morgen. Guten Morgen. She is from Mainz/Wiesbaden, babe? Yeah, she's from a little part of Germany near Mainz called Wiesbaden. Everyone's saying Guten Tag to you. All right. We're in minute 3 of extra time of this game that never seems to end. Whew. What's that mug say? I am Sherlocked. Not sure what it means, actually. It was my old roommate's mug. She left it here.
It's my mug.
Oh, it's your mug?
Yeah.
I thought it was Kelsey's mug.
No, it's my
Oh,
mug.
what does it mean? Okay. It's Nat's mug. It's the Benedict Cumberbatch show. Apparently. Chris Gary says Berhalter's mugs are better. All right, off topic. This is a good one, Nate. I'll answer off-topic questions. I'll try to. What are some of your favorite movies? My favorite all-time movie. Ooh, Werner. One of my favorite all-time movies is Braveheart. 300. The Patriot. I I like movies. So generally, I'm not a big fan of like superhero movies or like fantasy or sci-fi. Generally, my kind of movie is ordinary man, extraordinary circumstances. That's kind of my kind. So like a lot of Tom Hanks stuff. I really like Tom Hanks as an actor because that's basically who he plays. He plays ordinary man, extraordinary circumstances. And so I kind of enjoy that because it's like relatable. Um, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Star Trek, all of those franchises, I just can't get into them. We Were Soldiers, if we were sticking with Mel. I like We Were Soldiers, KMA. I really do. It sucks that Mel Gibson had said some pretty awful stuff in his life because he's such a good director and actor. You know, I think he's a better director than he is an actor, to be honest. I really enjoyed the one he did about the conscientious objector in World War II. Did anybody see that one? What was it called? It was Andrew Garfield. Somebody, if somebody remembers that name, the name of that movie. Andrew Garfield plays conscientious objector, fights the Japanese in World War II. Someone let me. Hacksaw Ridge, Butters, KMA Preston. Yeah, thank you. I really liked that movie. That was really good. Mel Gibson is really good at war movies and like portraying them pretty realistically too. And not just like earlier in his career, I thought he glorified war a little bit too much. But if you look at like We Were Soldiers or Hacksaw Ridge, he shows a lot of times the true horrors of war, right? Which is, I think, important, especially here in America, where sometimes I feel, and I'm saying I come from a military family, right? My uncle was in the Navy. My brother served a couple of tours in Iraq. But I think that sometimes our media doesn't give us a very realistic depiction of like the real horrors of war. So I like when movies show what, you know, war really looks like. And I think it's important. So yeah, that's one thing I appreciate about Mel Gibson's movies. They don't just like glorify it and hype it up. All right, so yeah, Hacksaw Ridge is a good movie. But I like other kinds of movies too. It's not just like, I'm not just a war film movie. I like other kinds of movies too. I like historical films a lot. I really enjoy like deep historical dives into like certain characters or certain time periods. I was never a big fan of Pride and Prejudice until I had to play Darcy in Pride and Prejudice on stage. And having to do all the research for that character, playing Mr. Darcy, kind of got me into the movie and into the books. And then I enjoyed that. I like period pieces in general. Westerns, I like anything from the Middle Ages, from medieval times. Did anybody see that recent movie with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck and Andrew Driver? It was a medieval. Lukaku. Oof, way offside. Gladiator, Mr. Nelson. Yes, Gladiator. Very good movie. The Departed. Yes, almost anything Leo does. I love Leonardo DiCaprio is one of my favorite actors. Almost anything he does. Revenant. Anybody see Revenant? Last Duel, John Rodriguez. Yeah, I liked Last Duel. I thought it was an interesting movie. I like that they took that movie and they looked at it from 3 different perspectives, because I think it was an interesting perspective on how human beings, how there's more than one side to every coin, that human beings, just because you see something a certain way doesn't mean that's how the rest of the world sees it. I just thought that was an interesting take on it. I love Leonardo DiCaprio. The Revenant I really liked. So much of his stuff. Catch Me If You Can. Gangs of New York. The Departed. Did anybody see the one where he played the pilot? The rich sort of billionaire guy who wanted to be a pilot. I can't remember what it was called, but I really enjoyed that. Almost everything Leo does. Gangs of New York. I really like Quentin Tarantino films also. Pete, did you cry during Titanic? No. I did not cry. The Aviator. Yeah. The Aviator was really good. Shutter Island. Anybody see Shutter Island? That's a really good movie. All right, back to soccer. Currently 0-0. We're in the 9th minute of extra time. I honestly lost a fair bit of interest in this game. Yeah, I think it's just going to go to penalties. I don't think anyone's going to score. Don't look up. Yeah. I've not seen The Wrestler, Matt. Wolf of Wall Street. Oh my God, of course. I love The Wolf of Wall Street. Great movie. Great movie. Wolf of Wall Street. Wolf on Wall Street. I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving. Best part of the movie. Actually, no, the best part was him crawling out of the car and not being able to walk. That was the best part of the movie. Either that or it was Matthew McConaughey's. You remember that? Oh, did I miss a super chat? Let's see. How'd you two meet? We met doing a show, actually. And you're talking about me and Nat? Yeah, we met doing a theater show. We were doing The Mousetrap. I was playing Christopher Wren, and she was playing the wife, the hostess of the inn where we were staying, the bed and breakfast. People know The Mousetrap. It's a play by what's her name? Shit, I forget names so easily. Anyway, it's like the most famous play in London. Still like playing in London on the West End for like 65 years nonstop. I think before COVID. And yeah, so we did The Mousetrap together. I played Sir Christopher Wren, the sort of closeted gay fop, and she played Mrs. Ralston. She was the wife, the innkeeper of the bed and breakfast. And we met, and we got to know each other for 3-4 months. Our tables were next to each other in the dressing room. We'd sit next to each other, and we just became friends, and then friends became more, and then we just started seeing each other more and more seriously, and now we're together. That's basically the short version. Do you think Dest will start with Agatha Christie? Duh. Thank you, Miguel. Agatha Christie. How do you forget Agatha Christie? I don't know. Do I think Dest will start with Danny Alves back? I don't think he'll start every game, but I don't think Danny Alves can start every game either. So I think they'll probably rotate them. If you think Don't Look Up was a bad movie, you missed the point. I don't think it was a bad movie, C. McCall. I just think it was a little on the nose. Like, I liked it. I enjoyed the movie. I watched it on the plane. It was a good movie. It was just a little bit like a little on the nose. But overall, I thought it was good. I thought they hit the mix of like serious and comedy pretty well. Producer Pete. I've produced one movie in my life. I also directed and wrote it. It's called Imago. It's actually won some awards recently. It's about human trafficking, which is another cause that's very close to my heart. Sort of an interesting movie, but we did it on a very, very small budget, so it's probably not going to go anywhere. This is amazing. Chris Gary, ever watched the movie Miracle on Turf, where an underdog USMNT team went up to Canada and defied all odds by dominating the game while winning the possession battle? Oh, that gets comment of the day. Comment of the day for sure. Anywhere we can watch it. So Akshay, it's not out yet. It's done a festival run. It's probably going to be out on Amazon at some point, but I'm warning you, it's a very low budget movie. Like, I literally made it for $25,000. So it's not a movie that you're going to look at and go, oh, what a great movie. You're going to go, this was a good attempt to try to bring attention to an important issue. And if they had more money, they probably could have made a good movie. That's just my honest opinion. Oh, dope. Chris Gary says, I had a Latin teacher whose first cousins with Robert Downey Jr. had a Zoom call with him too. Dope. That must have been awesome. He's a great actor. At what age did you start acting? Matt, that's a complicated question with a lot of possible answers. I don't have the time to answer that now. But the short answer is I started acting and doing like improv and sketch comedy and stuff when I was like 7. So, oh no, bots. Let's get them out of here. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Block user. All right. I think I blocked them. Apparently I can't block them. What? It says an error occurred. Try refreshing the page. No, I can't refresh the page. Let me try doing it in the YouTube studio. See if that works. Okay, so we are in extra time of the first half of added time. No, we're in added time of the first half of extra time. Pete is done with this game. Sorry, guys. I told you I lost a lot of interest when Pulisic left. But I'm trying to hang on here with my voice and with hot coffee that Nat brought me. Okay. Look at Havertz give up on that ball. How is Havertz still on the field? It's like you pulled off Pulisic and you left Havertz on? I don't know, man. Havertz and Alexander-Arnold. I just think it's hilarious when two guys like get their foreheads together and just start like yelling at each other. Like, what is the threatening? Like, we've got our foreheads locked. It's kind of weird. Like, and then they start pushing each other. One of them like twitches their head a little bit, almost like he's going to, headbutt you, but they can't. So they just have to like push their foreheads against each other and talk trash. Give it to the other Liverpool guy, too, who came and shoved Havertz. Yellows for Havertz and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Ruben Villasenora says, hit the like button, people. Oh, yes, guys, please. Hit the like button. Don't know how many likes we actually have on this. Let me have a look here. 156 likes. Not bad. Are we still getting spam? Jeez. Oh, will Dest start today? I hope so. I don't know. It's a good question, actually. I don't know. Guess we'll find out who Xavi rates. But Dest has been performing well. So when a player is playing well, there's an element of, let's leave him in there until he has a bad game, right? And when you bring Alves, you bring Dani Alves back. When Dest starts underperforming again, if he does, right? Drab extra time. Yeah, very drab. This 0-0 is like, whew. Halftime of extra time. It's still 0-0. There's no Christian Pulisic. I love the ESPN FC broadcasts. You've got Craig Burley, Steve Nicole, and Dan Thomas. These guys are hilarious. They're like, you ever listen to the ESPN FC like podcast? It's like Steve Nicole makes fun of everything he doesn't understand. Like Liverpool bringing in a throw-in coach to help them improve their throw-ins, which in my opinion is a great idea. And he's making fun of it. He's like, maybe we should have somebody come in, teach him, all right, here's what you're going to do. You're going to turn around right, face away from the pitch and then throw it backwards over your head. He's just like, the problem with these old guys is they played soccer in like the 70s or the 80s. And so now they don't understand that things are changing. Technology is different. Sports science is different. All these things are different. And so they mock everything they don't understand. And it's like, you're not helping people understand the modern game. You're just mocking something you don't understand and making yourself look like kind of a cretin. Someone said Craig Burley will find a way to blame Pulisic. Dest is starting, apparently. Let's have a look. Barcelona versus Athletic Club. That's quite the way to put it, Google. All right, lineups. I don't see the lineups, guys. Does anybody have a confirmation? Oh, they posted on Twitter. All right, Des starts. Dope. All right, so Kovacic is off for none other than the Italian, Brazilian, Jorginho. Jorginho. Should ask Tack if I got that pronunciation right. Jorginho. Jorginho in for penalties. Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what he's in there for. All right, see what happens. I still think he should have left Pulisic in there. Pulisic scores penalties too. This is going to go to penalties, isn't it? Ooh, who's your favorite non-American player of all time, Pete? It's a good question. Favorite non-American player of all time? Wow. I don't know. I don't know if I have one favorite. I like Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney, I really liked him because he wasn't a super... because of his mentality. He was like a bull in a china shop. And he was really... like, he's Manchester United and England's top scorer ever, right? Even though he's not the most technical player in the world, he could pull things on a pitch that I've never seen before, things that I thought were incredible. But I think a lot of that has to do with he's my age. So when I was 16, he was 16, and he scored his first goal against Arsenal when David Seaman was their goalkeeper. He was 16 years old. He was playing for Everton. He scored against Arsenal this beautiful goal from like 25, 30 yards out. And that was like the hallmark of the start of his career. And then I watched him in the Euros in 2004 when he was really good. So I think that kind of, I got attached to him. He's obviously not one of the best players that's ever lived or anything. He was just one of my favorite because I sort of grew up with him as a, as a player. Zidane was good. I didn't really watch Maradona growing up. He was kind of before my time. Trying to think. Ballack was a good player. Paul Scholes is another guy I really liked. Michael Owen. Michael Owen was a great player, just very injury prone. Titi Henry, for my money, still one of the best strikers that's ever played in the Premier League. Titi Henry. I really liked the Italian defenders way back in the day, like the old Italian defenders. Alessandro Nesta, I really liked him as a defender. Even the sort of later ones like Cannavaro, amazing defenders. And I was a defensive player growing up, so I appreciated what it took to defend. Costa Curto was very good also. Chiellini, obviously, a great defender. Cannavaro, for me, was amazing because he was so short. But he defied the stereotype of what a defender was, Alessandro Nesta, huge fan of him. Gigi Buffon for his longevity and his amazing, like he's a world-class goalkeeper for so long. To be a goalkeeper for 25 years. Maldini, of course, Maldini. Bobby Moore, I never actually got to watch him play, you know. KMA Preston, should Weah leave Lyon and find a club where he can start? Either that or fight for a spot at Lille, right? Become a better player, earn more minutes. It's up to Tim Weah. The truth is, Weah's been really good for the national team this last year, but he hasn't been good for Lille in terms of production. He's been okay for Lille, but in terms of his production, what do you have? 2 assists, 0 goals, right? Ooh, Chelsea score. Offside again? Oh my God. What a game, guys. On the same subject, who is your favorite non-US current player? Oh boy. Favorite player? It's a good question. I don't think I have one. I watch soccer a lot more now as an analyst than I do as a fan. You know, obviously Messi is, one of the world's best, probably one of the greatest to ever play the game. I have huge admiration for Ronaldo because I don't think he was anywhere near as naturally talented as Messi, but he worked so hard to not only get to the top, but stay at the top for so long, right? I admire the discipline, the focus, and the drive that it takes to be that. But he's not as naturally talented as Messi. Messi is a magician. Ronaldo's a grinder, right? I don't like Neymar. Don't tell Tack I said that. I don't love Neymar. Trying to think. Guys that I really love. Honestly, Kante is one of my, not my favorites, but a guy I really admire because he's had to overcome so much to become who he is. And I admire players like that. Modric. I don't know how Tack does this, guys. He does 3-hour streams for the US games. I'm like losing my voice here. All right, we're almost there though. 9 minutes left in this game. No one's going to score. This is going to be 0-0 right to the end. It's going to go to penalties. Now the question is, who wins on penalties? Yes, Arnold. Pete, what are your thoughts on Paxton Aronson? Love him. Saw him play yesterday, and I think he might be better than his brother. I agree with this. I said this in my video about the best young players. Whether he's better than his brother or he's just ahead of his brother in the development curve, we'll find out. See you in Charlotte, amigo. Thanks, Arnold. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to put a video on Patreon highlighting the performances of young Americans from this weekend. All right, specifically the ones that I thought did well. Another guy who needs to get more love is Noah Allen for Inter Miami, but we'll talk about that. I loved Paxton. I love what I saw from him. The kid has flair, technique, talent. He's aggressive. He is not afraid to try things. Huge fan of Paxton. And I do think he's better than his brother. I agree with you on that. Arnold, I will see you in Charlotte, man. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. Mo Salah trying to dance into the box, loses it. Oh. All right, David Wheatley. Pete, if USMNT qualifies to Qatar, Who would be your prediction for most surprising roster inclusion, a la Julian Green 2014? Ooh, that's a good question. Who would be that prediction for most surprising inclusion? Wow. I'm going to say Gabriel Slonina. I'll say either Gabriel Slonina or Paxton Aronson. Like, I literally think we could see Paxton Aronson if he continues to develop this year. By the time MLS is over, we could see him on that Qatar roster. As like a super sub, you need a goal, somebody who can come on and do something different. I think either Paxton or Slonina. They're just gonna scrap this out. We got 6 more minutes left until penalties. What if Kepa actually comes in? Do you think they'll bring Kepa in for penalties? Is he really a better penalty saver than Mendy? I don't know. I mean, that's what they say, that he's a specialist. I don't know if that's true. This is a fair point. I'm going to go with Mihailovic. You're telling me the USSF wouldn't allow for the MLS assist leader not to be at the World Cup? Yeah, could be Mihailovic, especially if he has another very good season. You're talking about 2 really strong seasons in a row. Then yeah, it would be hard not to call him up to the World Cup. That's a fair point. But if we bring Mihailovic or even Paxton Aronson, how will we ever find a spot for our favorite Sebastian Lletget and Christian Roldan to be there to light up the World Cup with their supreme talent? This is a good question about Gio. Thoughts on Gio saying he will be ready for qualifiers? I feel like he's feeling guilty getting injured, kind of like Charlie Davies trying to rush to make the World Cup. I think Gio really wants to play, and it's probably killing him that he's missed all of qualifying and he wants to come back and play. So he's also very young, and we're going to have to be careful with him. We don't want to damage him long term. As much as it would be nice to have him in this last window, let's see how much, like Dortmund's going to want to protect him. Like, he's their investment, right? So let's see how much playing time they give him. If they give him a couple of sub minutes before March, fine, bring him. I wouldn't start him, especially not against Mexico. Okay? I would keep him as a super sub if we need a goal in an important game. But again, we got to be careful with Gio, man. This long term, you don't want him to get hurt again. If we rush him back and he gets hurt again, oh, it looks like Kepa is coming in. He's already got his gloves on. You can see. Looks like he is going to come in for penalties. Yeah, look, I think we just got to be careful with Gio. We can't be blindsided. And if we can't qualify for the World Cup without Gio, then we don't deserve to be there, So, yeah, let's see. Let's wait and see how he does with Dortmund. How much playing time does he get? Dortmund may actually hold him back. Dortmund may not play him before March 24th, right? They may be like, it's not worth losing him again. We need him for the run-up to the season. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with Gio. I would err on the side of caution with him as much as possible because he's had a long injury that he already re-injured, it looks like, even though I know it's mild, probably just a tweak. But still, the last thing you want to do is risk the health of probably your highest ceiling player, And remember, too, like, we can't put our hopes and dreams above Gio Reyna's career, right? Like, we all have hopes and dreams of the U.S. being good and going to the World Cup. Even if it means we don't go to the World Cup again, we still can't risk this 19-year-old's future. Like, it would be irresponsible to do that. So, BMR says, I'll settle for just getting Lletget off the roster at this point. Tell me about it, bro. But the fact that, both McKennie and Reyna are injured, I think very likely we're going to see Leggett again. Also, he scored yesterday for New England Revolution. And if there's anything that Berhalter loves, it's MLS stats, box scores, MLS box scores. Ariola got an assist. Leggett got a goal. Oh, boy. They're going to be in that roster, and you know it. Hoppy to MLS this summer? I hope so. He needs to get out of there. He needs to get out of Mallorca. They're not giving him a fair shake. MMA Preston says, man, I hope Roldan doesn't make the roster. We've seen a million times he can be doing fantastic in MLS, but it never translates for him. I mean, dude looked mediocre against Bosnia backups. I agree 100%. Penalties. Kepa coming in. Bro, I've said more than my piece on Roldan 100,000 times. He should not be anywhere near the national team. He's not MLS. He's not national team quality. Good MLS player for him. Hasn't translated to the national team. He isn't a young player that's going to get better. He's in his prime now, 27 years old. So he's not going to get any better. Or maybe he's not 27, actually. Let me double check. But I know he's at least 25. Right? So he's not going to get any better. He's entering his prime. He's 26. Okay. So in June, he's going to be 27. So in a few months, he's going to be 27. This is his prime. Okay. This is his prime. He's not going to get any better than this. And 31 caps, 1 assist, 0 goals, has not produced, can't look good for the national team. Pete, Luca says, Pete, do you think Greg actually rates these guys, or do you think he doesn't trust others, like it took Luca so long just to get on the roster and even longer to play? Yeah, we don't know what Greg is thinking, right? I think a lot of the reason these guys come on is because Greg values people who understand his PowerPoint slides more than people who can play soccer. And I know that's a little bit disingenuous and hyperbolic, but my point is that Greg seems to value guys who know the system. I didn't say it could execute the system effectively. I said guys who know the system over guys who can be effective on the field. And I think eventually what happens is these guys come on the field like Luca did against Honduras and look so much better, like we all said they would, right? All the fans, or at least the vast majority of rational fans, were saying Luca deserved time. Finally gets it, justifies us, proves us right. And hopefully now he'll get more time, in this next upcoming window. He won man of the match again for Heracles yesterday. Scored a good goal, won man of the match. Yeah, it's frustrating. I'm with you. It's very frustrating, but I don't think that Greg rates them for their ability. I think he rates their ability to understand and mentally accept his system. I also think Greg likes yes men. I think Greg likes guys who don't question him, who don't challenge him. That's why you've seen guys like John Brooks and Matthew Hoppe who have challenged him out, right? Never given opportunities again. This is Greg Berhalter for you, but this is stuff we've all said before. This is not new. All right. Dest at left back, Alves at right back, Jordi Alba on suspension. Okay. All right. Well, he's playing left back. Hey, at least he's playing, right? Better than not playing. I agree with this, Daniel Hay. I think that Clark does have a higher ceiling. That Aronson does have a higher ceiling than Clark. I also don't think that Clark is in a place where he can really develop right now. I'm not sure the Red Bulls is the best development place for him. I would rather him be maybe at Salzburg. I think it'd be better for his development. But that's a different conversation. We are going to penalties. Finally, guys. We are going to penalties. Let's see what happens here. Craig Burley talking. I have my sound off, so I can't hear what he's talking about. But it's Craig Burley. So it's going to be entertaining and probably nonsense. Someone's in the chat saying, will Cincy always be trash? See, this right here is why we need promotion and relegation. There needs to be consequences for being complete and utter trash. There's no consequences. You're trash? Okay, no worries. Try again next season. You still get to split the TV money. You still get to be a part of MLS. There's not enough incentive to do better for teams in MLS. And that's why you get teams like Chicago Fire, who might be better now, but have been really terrible for years and years and years. Cincy, Vancouver, Houston, right? So many teams that have just been utter trash, are not able to improve, aren't getting any better. Absolute rubbish. AK says Pulisic put that ball on a plate from Mount. Still pissed. I know. If he had scored that, Chelsea wins, and Pulisic has the game-winning assist. Trust me, Mount is not going to get anywhere near as much hate as Pulisic for missing that. Managing personality. This is a very good point, Rico. Managing personalities is a big part of the job, and hyper-competitive people aren't always easy. Greg Berhalter needs to work on that. I agree. Look at LeBron. I mean, look at Michael Jordan. Look at the best athletes in American sports history. They're fierce competitors, which means they're characters, they're personalities. Look at the biggest personalities in the world: Ronaldo, Neymar, Mbappe, right? They're Pogba. They're characters, a lot of them. And what they need is a manager who doesn't have a massive ego, who understands how to communicate and work with them and treat them in such a way that you get the best out of them. That's what good managers do. I don't think Greg is doing that, right? Greg gets challenged, his ego gets hurt, and then whoop, you're out. To be fair to Greg, though, to his credit, he did bring Luca De La Torre back in after Luca De La Torre publicly challenged him. Now, I would argue he had no choice, right? De La Torre was playing so well for Heracles, and he lost Gianluca Busio, he had to bring him in. Even then, he didn't give him any minutes until the final game. Luca De La Torre could have changed that game against Canada, or at least offered us more of a penetrating threat. Nope. Sorry, you got to bring on Paul Arriola instead, right? Didn't bring him in against El Salvador. We'll see how much game time he gets in this next window. I think he should start against Mexico. But that's just me. Greg probably feels differently. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. How good do you think Cade Cowell will be? Depends on the technique, right? He's got all the athletic gifts. Can he improve technically, right? That's the big question for Cade. From preseason, I didn't see his game yesterday. Maybe one of you saw it. In a couple of preseason moments, I thought he looked okay. Looked like there was definitely some technical improvement. And he's still very, very young. So there's tons of room to improve. But a lot of that is going to be up to him. Can he add being better? We know he's very good on the counterattack, right? In open space, in transition, fantastic. What we need from Cade is the tight spaces. Can he improve technically in those small pockets of space when time is compressed, when space is compressed? Can he get out of it? Can he beat players not just using explosiveness, but using technique? That's the big question for Cade Cowell, right? All right, so Milner up first. No spoilers, guys. No spoilers. I'm not even going to look at the chat. Milner versus Kepa. Liverpool shoots first. Here we go. All right, 1-0. Right, oh yeah, get in there, mate. All right, hey, James Milner, English as, steak and kidney pie. Do I think he calls in Scally next month? No, I don't think so, especially now that he's not playing as much for Mönchengladbach. There's no way he calls him in. It's going to be Dest and Yedlin and maybe Cannon. All right, next up, Marcus Alonso. Oh! Keeper almost got to that. 1-1. Alonso scores. An English player scoring a penalty, you love to see it. That's so true. Next up, we've got Joel Matip. Had a header disallowed, a goal disallowed earlier in the game. Can he make up for it here? Right. It's a lot about a mental game. Takes the run up. Oh, right down the middle. Ice in his veins, yeah. And that, Bob, Tom, probably Tom, Harry, that'll be really good for the other players, because when you got a player like that, he steps up and does something like that. It's just, he's overflowing with confidence, mate. And that confidence is contagious. As teammates, you go, bloody hell, that's amazing. And it feels you. It just gives you an extra boost. And that's the sort of thing that Joel Matip brings to this Liverpool team. Oi, cheeky. Good one, Andrew. All right. So 2-1. Now we've got Lukaku. If Lukaku misses this after his not playing very well and his comments about Tuchel's system, and he scores it. 2-2. Right, good finish by Lukaku. Dangerous one. Bit too close to the keeper. If the keeper had gone the other way, probably something he could have saved. But fair play to him. He scored the goal, innit? Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk. It's 2-2. It was Fabinho, not Matip. What am I talking about? Sorry, guys. It was Fabinho. My bad. My bad. All right, Virgil van Dijk versus Kepa. Oh! He put it next to the keeper. Almost saved it. In the top corner. In the top corner, mate. That was interesting because the keeper was shading to his right there, but he put it the same spot as the keeper. Oh, Mason Mount is coming on. Mason Mount. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's not Mason Mount. I'm talking about. He's not on the field. Havertz. Kai Havertz. Havertz miss incoming. Oh, no. All right, Kai. The young German. Stutter step. Oh, and he scores. 3-3. Everybody's got a goal. Time for Lord Kepa to come up big. George Campbell starting for Atlanta today. All right. One to watch. George Campbell, people. I'll be watching that Atlanta game for sure. KMA Preston, is it playing a back three, or is he starting with Miles Robinson? Is it a back three with Franco and Robinson, or is it Robinson and Campbell? Let me know. All right. Trent Alexander-Arnold, an English lad. Right. One for the fans. He bleeds. You'll never walk alone, mate. He's a Liverpool lad through and through. A real scouser. Come on, lad. Oh, what a finish from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Could have played for the United States, maybe, but he's an English lad. He's a St. George's flag gent through and through, mate. 4-3 Liverpool. Brooks Lennon on the bench. Yes. Still getting called up for the national team, Liam Davis. Oh, another English lad, Reece James. Reece James will be looking to tie it up here. 4-4. It's not so much about technique at this level. It's really about the mental confidence, the strength. I used to count my steps walking up to the penalty spot because otherwise your mind would be thinking about all kinds of scenarios. But he looks confident. He looks like he's going to score this. He doesn't look like he's going to choke. Come on, Reece James. Cool as a cucumber. Puts it in the corner. 4-4. Oh, and he turns to shush the Liverpool fans. All right. They're not going to love him for that on Merseyside. And the fans are having a bit of a laugh about it too, aren't they? Ilyas Abdi says they are 4-3-3, Miles Robinson and Campbell as the pair. Awesome. That'll be very interesting to see. American center back pairing. All right. You'd love to see it. All right. 4-4. Liverpool. Come on, Kepa. Ooh, it's Salah. Okay. Salah versus Kepa. So much for Kepa being a penalty-saving specialist. Hasn't saved a single one so far. Maybe watch. He's going to save Salah's now. Yeah, nope. 5-4. Good penalties today. Everybody had really good penalties. They were all hit well. They were all in like corners, right? Top corners, bottom corners. hit strongly enough that they couldn't be gotten to. Oh, Jorginho. Oh, boy. Jorginho. Oh, wow. Tyler Wolff is also starting for Atlanta. I have to watch this game. Oh, Jorginho scores 5-5, and it's going to be sudden death. Oh, he almost faked the keeper out there, huh? Anybody know what's happening in the Orlando game? Is it still 0-0? Jesus. Oh, no, it's not still 0-0. Hang on. Oh, who's it? Jordan Henderson? Nope, it's not Jordan Henderson. Is it Andy Robertson? Is that who that is? Nope. Orlando just scored. Who is this? All right, 5-5. Oh, it's Diego. Ooh, right down the middle, 6-5. Good Lord, this could go on for a while. 6-5 Liverpool. Diego Jota. Portuguese maestro. Ah, Rudiger is up next. The German. Chris Gary, I'm happy Christian Pulisic isn't taking a pen. I couldn't take it if he missed. Yeah, I'd be fine if he missed, but he's not going to miss. He's Pulisic. Pulisic's good at penalties. Remember that penalty against Mexico with all the pressure in the world? Ice in his veins. Oh, 6-6. Oh, my God. How is everyone just going to score their penalties? I don't know about Kepa, man. Kepa has had 6 penalties now, hasn't saved a single one. All right, Liverpool's back up. All right. Divock Origi, the Belgian. Oh, boy. Everyone going down the middle again. 7-6. God, this is going to be like 15-15 penalty shootout. I wonder, what's the record for, penalties in a big game like this? Oh, Kante. Go on, Kante. Please don't miss. Oh, good penalty, Kante. 7-7. Jesus Christ. I know. I was going to say 7 penalties. Kepa hasn't saved a single one. I'm not sure if he's the specialist everyone says he is. To be fair, though, they've all been very well hit penalties. Now it's Andy Robertson. All right. 7-7, guys. He looks nervous. He looks nervous. He's going to miss. I'm calling it. Nope. Okay. Settle down, Robertson. Come on. Isn't he Scottish, Andy Robertson? 8 penalties, no saves from Kepa. Not one. Whew. Guys, this is getting nerve-wracking now. Even though I don't really care that much, it's still like anytime penalty goes this late in, we're going to go to the keepers, isn't it? Timo Werner. All right, Werner, watch. Werner's going to miss this one. Yeah, he looks nervous. Looks nervous. Or maybe he just looks focused. Maybe I'm projecting. Oh, that was almost a save. Ooh, that was almost a save. Whew. Ooh. Vive la France says Werner is a bum. Oh, that was almost a save. All right, 8-8. Good Lord, this thing's dragging on forever. You realize we've been live for 3 hours already? I don't know how Tack does this. Tack deserves a medal. Elliott. All right. Elliott versus Kepa. Save it, Kepa. Finally do. Nope. 9-8. Oh, my God. Guys. How long is this going to go on for? 9-8. All right, Chelsea. What you got? What you got? Feel it. You got it. Oh, believe it. When you fall, get up. Oh, you get down, get up. Hey, hey. Thiago Silva. Samina mina sakaleva. And now Thiago Silva has to equalize to make it 9-9. Tuchel and Pep may have to shoot. I think you mean Tuchel and Klopp. 2 German managers. Oh, Silva. Come on, Silva. Oh, Thiago Silva. Scores. Oh, Thiago Silva. 9-9. Oh, my God. Are we really going to get to 10? Are we really going to get to 10? Yeah, I want Pulisic to win a trophy, so I'm hoping that Chelsea wins this too. When you fall, get up. Oh, you get down, get up. Hey, hey. Come on, Kepa. Make a save. You're supposed to be a specialist. You've had 9 penalties. Haven't saved any of them. All right. Konate, ex-Leipzig defender. Oh, you almost saved that, Kepa. You almost saved that. Oh, my God. 10-9. Guys, I have not seen a penalty shootout like this in a long time. Watch. Someone on Chelsea is going to miss it now. Look at this. So close. He got a hand to it. Oh, God. 10-9. Jesus. Oh. Whew. Chalobah. Watch. Chalobah's going to miss. Somebody has to miss eventually, right? Eventually, somebody's got to miss. If he scores this, it's 10-10. This will be some kind of record. All right. Come on, Chalobah. Score it. Let's keep going. Let's keep this going as long as it can. Come on, Chalobah. Don't miss. He scores. 10-10. Right down the middle. It came. Here we go. Comment of the stream. Literally no one could score during the game, and now no one can miss. Guys, I'm kind of glad we stayed on for this. This is like historic. Historic. Kepa, 10 penalties and you can't save one? Not one. Come on, Kepa. Oh, it's keepers now. All right. Keeper's time. He's going to miss this. Then what do they do if they all score? Do they just keep going? They have to retake, or does it go to the bench? This kid's going to miss. This Liverpool kid, he looks nervous as hell. He's going to miss. He's going to miss. He's going to miss. Nope, he's not. What a penalty. 11-10. Now watch Kepa miss. Oh, God. Watch Kepa miss. Oh, my God. Kepa's going to miss, isn't he? Oh, that's going to be hilarious. If Kepa was brought on to save penalties, saves none, and misses his. Oh, my God. Look at Mendy's face. Oh, my God. Kepa's going to miss, isn't he? Oh, poor Kepa. Oh, he missed. Oh, shit. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's irony in its highest form. Oh, my God. Poor Kepa. You're brought on. You know who I feel more bad for than Kepa is Samba. You get taken off. Your replacement saves 0 of the 10 penalties, and he misses his penalty. Oh, poor Kepa. You got to feel for the guy. That's got to hurt. That's got to hurt. All right, well, another trophy for Liverpool. Kelleher, the hero, who scored his last winning penalty. Liverpool with another trophy. All right, guys, thank you for hanging out. Yeah, should have kept Mendy, right? It's 11:30. We are 3 hours and 12 minutes into this stream. That was actually, I'm glad we stayed on because that penalty shootout was actually really fun. But I got to go because I'm losing my voice here, and I'm going to now go watch. Somebody said Pulisic's fault. Atlanta versus. Let me look this up, guys. Before we take off, I'm hearing that Atlanta is starting 3 Americans, including Tyler Wolff. So let's look at this. The starting lineup for Atlanta United versus Sporting Kansas City. George Campbell and Miles Robinson as center backs, and Tyler Wolff, the 19-year-old forward, Josh Wolff's son, I believe, is starting as well. So if you like young Americans, go watch that game. Nobody interesting playing for Kansas City, or at least nobody interesting in terms of young Americans. Brooks Lennon on the bench. Yes. Caleb Wiley's also on the bench, and so is Jackson Conway. Good on Atlanta, starting to give more time to young players. Guys, thanks for hanging out. This was a lot of fun. I'm not going to stay for the trophy and all of that, but thanks for hanging. I will see you guys soon. If you want, I'm going to do a whole video on Patreon this week covering moments that I thought were really good from young Americans in MLS. Not just goals, not just highlights. I want to cover moments that speak to the quality of certain players. So I'll do that on Patreon. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for your super chats, for your time, for hanging with me through this intense shootout. I'll see you guys soon. You'll never walk alone, Pete. Thanks, Miguel. See you, Butters. See you guys.